A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Jerry of the Circus. Jerry of the Circus.
Well, good morning, Jerry. What are you doing up so bright and early?
I got up when we hit town this morning.
You are ambitious. We got in about 5, didn't we?
Yep. I couldn't sleep. Besides, Mr. Randall said there was a surprise for me.
Yeah, I might have known. What was the surprise?
Spike's back.
No. Well, that's great.
He met us at the run this morning, and was he glad to get back with the circus?
I can imagine.
Murray said he did the work of foreman this morning.
I guess he's always been a good worker.
Sure. And now he's trying to make up for all the time he lost out while the police held him back there on that counterfeit charge.
Spike certainly gets mixed up in more police things than anyone I ever heard of.
Yeah, it's a shame. Of course, after it happened the first time, it was naturally he'd be suspected the next time the trouble came up.
Yeah, he's had more than his share of bad luck.
Hey, what's wrong with Daisy? She's roaring something fierce. Is she sick?
No, at least I don't think so. They all seem restless this morning. I can't quite make it out.
That's funny. Are they off their feed?
Well, I've been checking things up pretty carefully. I was afraid perhaps they'd gotten some tainted meat. But that can't be it.
Whatever it is, it sure can be. Hey, look at Nemo over there. He's thrashing around like he's crazy.
Well, I'm staying right here till the matinee. It's funny, when they get restless, they all go haywire. If I stick around, I'm sure I can calm them down by showtime.
I sure hope so. Gee, it's kind of a funny morning, isn't it?
Yeah, not a bit of air stirring.
Think it's going to rain?
Not with the sun out like that.
I know, but there doesn't seem to be any clouds, and the sun's kind of dull, and the sky's all yellowish instead of blue.
Say, you're quite a weatherman, Jerry. What do you predict?
Oh, I don't know exactly. I've never seen it like this before.
Daisy! Hey there, take it easy. What's wrong, old lady?
She certainly knows when you're talking to her, all right.
That a girl. Well, then take it easy. It's funny, I can't make this out. As a rule, Daisy's the most tractable of the whole lot.
Hi there, folks. What's the matter? So busy talking to your lions you can't say hello to your friends?
Oh, Patsy.
Hiya, Patsy. We didn't see you. What's up?
Oh, nothing special. I just sort of thought I was being neglected lately, so I came around to find out what's going on.
We wouldn't neglect you, Patsy.
I should say not. Gee, I guess I haven't seen you much the last few days. You know what, with Uncle Dan coming back and Spike just got in this morning, I suppose I've been kind of busy.
Spike? Oh, that's great. I'm certainly glad he's out of that mess.
Yeah, I guess he is, too.
Uh-huh. And what about you, Jason? Well, Jerry seems to have a pretty good alibi.
You know, I'm always glad to see you, Patsy.
I used to think so. Seems to me as if you've been avoiding me the last day or so.
Now, you're just imagining things, Patsy.
Sure thing. Say, every time I see Jason, he asks where you are, and seems like if we aren't talking about his lions, we usually end up talking about you.
Hey, Jerry.
Well, it's so.
Well, I must say that's very encouraging. I'd begun to think I'd done something or said something.
No, you couldn't, Patsy. Don't ever worry about that. I guess I've just been kind of busy, that's all. Emo! Pipe down there.
Say, Patsy, where'd you get that pretty bracelet?
Uh-huh. It is pretty, isn't it?
Gee, I'll say. I never saw one like that before. So big and heavy. And all that carving.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, silver?
That's right, Jerry.
But the jewels. Say, that must be valuable.
That's really beautiful, Patsy. I never saw you wear that before. Looks like a family heirloom.
Oh, it is.
Seems like it's pretty valuable to bring on the road.
Well, it's not really mine. That is, well, I'm just wearing it.
Who gave it to you?
Boris.
Oh.
Jiminy Willikers, I never knew he was that generous.
Of course, it's none of my business, Patsy, but seems like that's a pretty valuable present to accept from anyone.
Yes, I know, Jason. I didn't want to take it, but he insisted and acted like his feelings were so hurt when I refused it that I...
Can you beat Boris giving away something like that?
Well, it all happened like this. He seemed so kind of blue. You know, after that time he got all dressed up to go to that party and no one came for him.
Poor Boris. Must have been a blow to his pride to fall for a gag like that.
Well, when he got to talking to me, I could see he was feeling pretty badly. Everyone kidding him so.
Oh, he's old enough to take a joke.
I know, but sometimes grown-ups are worse than kids. Well, anyhow, he got to telling me about his mother. Seems like she must have looked an awful lot like me. He said even her voice was like mine. And, well, he got to talking, and then later he came back with this bracelet and said it belonged to her, and...
And he gave it to you, huh?
Well, he wanted to. I said, of course it was too... Well, that I just couldn't accept it.
He had a lot of nerve.
Oh, but I felt awfully sorry for him, Jason. He talked just like a lonely little boy.
Boris did?
I'd never seen him like that before. So, when he just was so terribly hurt because I didn't even want to wear it, well, I just finally had to say that I would wear it for a while.
Well, of course, you're old enough to know what you'd want to do, Patsy.
You're not angry with me, are you, Jason?
No, of course not. It's none of my business what you do, Patsy.
Well, of course, if you put it that way, it certainly isn't. Still, if your best friends can't be reasonable, I don't...
Nemo! Daisy! Nero, what's wrong, old fella?
Those cats have been acting up funny all morning.
They're not the only things acting funny.
What did you say, Patsy? Hey, Patsy, where you going?
Sorry, I've no things to do, Jerry.
Well, what do you know? Can I do anything, Jason?
Lady, you know there's nothing wrong. Yeah, that's right. Now, don't get all excited.
They sure quiet down when you talk to them, don't they?
Well, they know I do everything I can to make their lives easy. Say, where'd Patsy go?
I don't know. She just said something about having something to do and barged off.
Isn't that like a woman, though? Ask for your advice, and then when you give it to her, she goes off in a huff.
Mm-hmm. You know, Jason, I've been thinking.
I was afraid of that, Jerry. I could almost hear you.
Yeah? Say, how long has Boris been with Mr. Randall?
Oh, a couple of years.
And Patsy's been with him longer than that, hasn't she?
Yeah, ever since she was a kid.
Doesn't it seem kind of strange that traveling together like this for so long that this would be the first time he'd ever tell Patsy how much she looks like his mother?
You're right, Jerry. I hadn't thought of that. Though I've been thinking of plenty of other things.
What?
Well, I'm afraid I don't like Boris very well, Jerry. So it wouldn't be fair for me to say.
But you do like Patsy a lot.
Too much, I'm afraid.
Ah, go on. How can you like anyone too much?
Wait till you grow up, Jerry. You'll find out.
Well, anyhow, I think it's kind of funny that Boris should all of a sudden notice that Patsy looks like his mother and when she was young, and never have mentioned it in all this time.
Don't you like Boris either?
Well, not too much. You see, he doesn't treat Whitey very well.
He usually doesn't bother about being nice to anyone unless there's something they can do for him.
Say, maybe that's it.
What?
No, it couldn't be. What on earth could Patsy do for Boris? But there must be something funny going on. Gee, I wish I knew what it was.
Well, it looks like you've got another detective job all cooked up and ready for you to work on.
Well, guess you'll have to help me on this one, because so far it just doesn't make much sense.
I'm afraid I can't help you much this time, Jerry. You see, liking Patsy the way I do, if I do or say anything against Boris, well, it looks like I'm jealous and not being very gentlemanly about it.
Gee, you're right. I never thought of that. Say, Jason, the sun's gone in. Look.
Nero! Stop that! Everything's all right. Take it easy, boy. Yeah, the sky is funny. Sort of sullen.
And everything's so quiet. Look, not a leaf stirring.
So you people are noticing the weather, too, eh?
Yeah. Oh, it's you, Kelly. I don't remember ever seeing it quite like this before. Have you?
Once, but I've been trying not to think about it all morning.
What do you mean, Kelly?
Well, I hate to say anything, but it looks like we'll find out soon enough anyhow, so I may as well admit that this looks mighty like tornado or cyclone weather to me.
What? Say, that ought to be exciting.
Yeah, you betcha. It's too exciting for my taste.
You're not serious.
Yes, I am. Of course, I ain't been in one of those things since I was a kid, but I'll tell you, if you're ever caught in one, it's something you'll never forget.
You mean we might be getting a cyclone?
I couldn't say, Jerry. I never been in a cyclone, but I was in a tornado once, and it was terrible.
Is this the right part of the country for those things, Kelly?
I'm not right sure, Jason. But we're not far from that cyclone belt.
Gee whiz.
I don't know whether the folks around here have cyclone cellars or not. But they have them in Park City, I know, and over by Wellerton.
A cellar just for cyclones? Oh, you're kidding, Kelly.
Indeed, I'm not. Listen, Jerry, when a thing like that hits, there's no use fooling around about saving anything. The only thing you can do is to get into an underground cellar or get flat on the ground in a ditch or something deep.
Say, even as exciting as that sounds, I don't know as I'm so anxious to get mixed up in one of those things.
Well, I should say not.
But what's the difference between a cyclone and a tornado?
Well, a cyclone is also a windstorm, but instead of coming straight for you in a straight line, it comes in a huge circle, like in a mince funnel.
Well, I guess that isn't what we're going to have, because it's so awful quiet.
Yeah, that's the trouble. It's too quiet. It often gets like that just before one of those bad winds come up.
Daisy! I'm ashamed of you, old girl.
Your animal's been nervous, too, this morning?
Yeah, I'll say. Can't seem to get them settled down.
Yeah, we've been having our trouble over in the menagerie top, especially them zebras. They sure have been ornery.
Do you think they might sense there's something funny in the air?
That's what I'm afraid of. The elephants were stamping around and trumpeting like mad. However, Gertie took command and got order in the ranks.
She's sure boss of that herd, isn't she?
And she knows how to keep order, too. I wish she could keep those pesky zebras in order.
Oh, what about the giraffes?
Well, they're flighty and dumb, but we can always handle them. It's the zebras that are stubborn and dangerous in an emergency.
Say, looks like the sun is trying to get out.
Well, I hope I didn't get you folks worried, but then there's no use not being prepared in case of trouble.
Yeah, you're dead right, Kelly.
Say, it'd be fierce if a cyclone had come up while Jason was in the steel, wouldn't it?
Hey, don't even think of such things, Jerry.
And there's one thing to remember, and that is you can see those things coming a long way off. Yeah, that's the only good thing I know about it.
And you say the best thing to do is to lie flat on the ground?
Yeah, that's right.
I'll sure remember that. Guess I'd better get rags. In case of trouble, we've sure got to stick together.
Well, I hope this isn't just a false alarm, but for the present, I guess I'd better give my cats a little attention.
The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike. Quality of product is essential to continuing success.
In
a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts, and
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Yes, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. It takes fine tobacco to make a fine cigarette. And year after year, independent tobacco experts, auctioneers, buyers, and warehousemen can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Yes, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And fine tobacco means real deep down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed. So free and easy on the draw.
American.
Well, dear, it's 2:30. I guess I better get over to the studio.
All right. Goodbye, darling. And don't forget your script.
Oh, I won't.
Oh, by the way, Don, I meant to ask you, what happened at Jack Benny's house last Wednesday that caused so much commotion?
Oh, that. I thought you knew. Everybody's talking about it.
No, dear. Tell me what happened.
Well, as you know, it was last Wednesday. The evening started out quietly enough. In fact, Jack had just finished having dinner.
Ah, Rochester, that certainly was a good dinner.
Thanks, boss.
And that first dish you brought in, that was good. You make it yourself?
Oh, no, boss. Those were popovers from the bakery.
Oh. What was on the other dish?
Leftovers from Tuesday.
Wait a minute. I happen to know that last night we had lamb stew and spare ribs. And what I had tonight looked like a lamb chop.
I know, boss. I took the meat out of the stew, dried it in the sun, glued it to a rib, and put a patty on it.
Gee, you sure fooled me. And, Rochester, what happened to the rest of the stew? You didn't throw it out, did you?
No, sir. You know those olives you had for lunch?
Yes.
Those were the green peas. I pumped them up.
Well, what do you know? And, Rochester, that other dish, it tasted like squash. What was it yesterday?
Squash. I couldn't do a thing with it.
Oh. Well, Rochester, don't buy squash anymore. It's so inflexible. Well, I think I'll go in the library and relax a while. Hand me my slippers, will you, Rochester?
Here you are.
Thanks. What are you laughing at?
Yesterday, those were hip boots. I cut them down.
What are you going to do with the tops?
I'll think of something.
Yeah. Good. Now, Rochester, you better do the dishes, will you, please? I'm going to the library. On the boardwalk at Atlantic City, dum-dum-da-dum-dum. Gee, I wish they'd have bathing beauty contests for men. Nah, it's enough that I'm a star of stage, screen, and radio. Dum-dum-ding-da-ding-dum. I'll get it. Hiya, Jackson.
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Oh, hello, fellas. I've been expecting you. Come on in.
Gee, rubber bedroom slippers.
Yeah.
Hey, we'd have been here earlier, Jackson, but we missed the first bus.
Oh, well, come on in. Say, Phil, did you come all the way over here on a bus like that?
Like what?
Look.
Well, how do you like that? I put on a glove that was holding a scotch and soda.
Come on, let's go in the library. Oh, say, Dennis, I'm surprised to see you here tonight. You know, I know your mother hates me.
Yeah.
I can't understand why your mother dislikes me so much. How can your family be so divided? Your father likes me, doesn't he?
No.
But Dennis, when you brought your father to the broadcast, he told me that he liked me. He said I was the most wonderful guy he ever met. He said that last Sunday.
Monday, they took him away.
Gee, that's a shame. I need him, too. Oh, hello, Polly. How do you like the way Daddy polished up your cage? Yes, sir.
Hiya, Polly. Why don't you get somebody to send you a cracker with a file in it so you can break out of that thing?
Phil, don't give her any ideas. Just say hello to her.
Hello, Polly.
Polly, Mr. Harris said hello to you. Say hello to Mr. Harris. Polly, say hello to Mr. Harris.
Hello.
Now, where'd she pick that up?
I said hello to her yesterday.
Oh. Now, Polly, say hello to Dennis. No, come on, Polly. Say hello, Dennis.
Hello, Dennis. Hello, Polly.
Dennis! Dennis, stop imitating her. Say, fellas, you know, the evening's young yet. What do we do to kill a little time? How about a game of bridge?
Bridge?
Yeah, we'll get out the card table. Oh, gee, fella, we can't play.
Why not?
Well, to play bridge, you have to have 4 hands.
I've only got 2 of them.
Dennis. I mean 4 people.
Oh.
Anyway, fellas, we'll think of I'll get it, Rochester. On the boardwalk at Atlantic City. Dum, 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 dum. Well.
Pardon my intrusion, Mr. Benny.
Well, Mr. Kitzel, what are you doing here?
Yesterday, when you had lunch at the drugstore, you left your hat on the counter.
Oh, yes, I did forget. How did you know it was my hat?
Well, when I looked on the band, I saw the initials J.B.
Oh.
But he said it wasn't his.
Who?
George Boyens.
No, Mr. Kitzel. George starts with a G.
He told me when he found out the hat was too small.
Well, it was nice of you to return it.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Kitzel. Oh, say, we need a 4th hand for bridge. I was wondering if you play the game.
Do I play bridge?
Good. What system do you use?
The best. Claudette Culbertson.
Well, then come on in. Rochester, will you please bring in a card table and some cards?
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Rochester. All right, fellas, let's go.
1-note trump.
Dennis, we haven't dealt the cards yet. He has to be my partner. Go ahead, Phil. You deal.
Okay.
Rochester, it's getting a little warm in here. Open the window, will you, please? Republicans are still celebrating. You better close it, Rochester.
Okay, Jackson, pick up your cards.
All right. Let me see. I bid 2 spades.
I pass.
Dennis, I bid 2 spades. What do you do?
Which ones are spades?
The black ones.
I've got 2 kinds of black ones.
Those are spades and clubs. Now, what do you do?
I pass.
Dennis, you can't pass. You're my partner.
Now that I've got my own show, I'm his partner yet.
I don't mean that. You're my partner in the game. I bid 2 spades. That's a forcing bid. I'm trying to find out what you've got in your hand.
I've got a 7 of diamonds and 9 of hearts.
Not that! Mr. Kitzel.
Yes?
Mr. Kitzel, look at his hand and help him.
Okay.
What does he do?
He passes.
He can't pass. He's my partner.
All right, he beat 7 spades.
7 spades?
With a 10 in the middle and the ace on top.
Oh, that's different. What do you do, Phil?
I open for $2.
Phil. Phil, this is bridge.
I don't care what it is. I got a full house, a straight, and a flush.
Now, don't be silly, Phil. That doesn't mean anything in bridge.
Oh.
Phil, where are you going?
I'm taking this hand over to the pool hall. It's worth a fortune over there.
Now, come back here and sit down. Now, where were we?
I pass.
Callie, you're not even playing.
Oh, Dennis.
Oh, quiet. Let's get back to the game. Phil, it's your bid.
Well, let's see.
And don't bend those cards. It's a new deck.
I just got a deck of cards for my birthday.
Did you, kid?
Boy, when I opened them up, was I disappointed.
Why?
On the box it said bicycle.
That's the name of the cards, bicycle cards. Now, Phil.
I think it's misleading.
Phil, it's your...
I ought to sue him.
Dan, if you can't sue them, it says bicycle cards. That's what they are, bicycle cards. Now, Phil...
It would be hard to shuffle bicycles.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Phil, where are you going?
I'm going to phone Alice and thank her for not having any boys.
Well, I don't blame you. Now, let's get going. Rochester, will you answer that, please?
Yes, sir.
Phil, it's up to you now.
Mr. Benny's resident, star of stage and radio.
Rochester, star of screen, too.
I don't want to start any argument. Oh, it's for you, Mr. Benny. Palm Springs calling.
For me? Palm Springs. I wonder... Hello? Hello, Mary. Mary, why didn't you tell me you were going to Palm Springs? Where are you staying? At the Mission Inn? But the Mission Inn is in Riverside. It's in Palm Springs? Rained that hard. Well, don't feel bad, Mary. It's been raining here, too. Yeah. Water's so deep, the only one who's not afraid to go out is Gary Cooper. He passed my house and he was alone, I think. What? Oh, certainly, Mary. Sure, I'll be glad to. Have a nice rest. Goodbye, doll.
What did Mary want, Jackson?
She wanted me to send her some Chiswee sandwiches. They haven't got them there, you know. Well, let's get on with the game.
Hey, Jackson, we got all balled up, so I dealt a new hand. I dealt for you.
Okay. Now, let's see. What a hand. I pass.
I pass.
I pass.
I bid 12 spades.
Phil, how could you get 12 spades?
I'd have had the other one, too, if you'd have stayed on that phone a little longer.
Give me those cards. I'll deal them myself.
Would you gentlemen like a cigarette?
Yeah, I'll have one. Say, Mr. Kitzel, I noticed you're smoking Lucky Strikes.
You bet. Yes, sir. Why, sure. It's my favorite brand.
Good.
And I'm crazy about that auctioneer. Hoo-ha-hoo, diddle-diddle-day, diddle-diddle-day, diddle-diddle-day.
Mr. Kitzel, stop jigging.
Leave him alone, leave him alone. The back of me hand, you fat feet, is a man after me own heart.
Come on, fellas, let's get on with it. I made every trick that time. A grand slam.
Boss, the telegram just came for you.
For me? Give the boy a tip?
Yeah, you owe me a quarter.
A quarter? You mean to tell me you tipped him a quarter?
I knew this would happen, so I made him give me a receipt.
A receipt? Let me see it.
Here it is, boss.
Rochester, this is a carbon copy.
I sent the original to my lawyer.
What?
Hey, Jackson, why don't you just read the wire? Maybe it'll take your mind off of the 2 bits.
Oh, yeah. Dear Jack, arriving Los Angeles to spend week with you. Should be at your house Wednesday evening about 8. Signed Leo DeRocha. Well, do you hear that, fellas? Leo DeRocha's going to spend a week with me, and he arrives Wednesday. Hey, that's tonight. You guys are really in for a treat.
No kidding. Hey, Jackson, is this the Leo DeRocha who manages the Brooklyn Dodgers?
That's him. You know, I spent most of my vacation traveling with his team.
My mother used to play with the Giants.
What?
She had to quit when I was born.
Dennis, please. And you know, fellas, I love baseball so much. It was a thrill traveling with that team. I got to like every player. Gee, I hope I live to see the day when the Brooklyn Dodgers win the World Series.
You know, Jackson, at your age, that ain't a bad wish.
Well, I'd still like to...
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, if you're such a good friend of DeRocha, then why were you always rooting for St. Louis?
That was the St. Louis Browns in the American League. In the National League, I always rooted for the Dodgers. Oh, Rochester.
Yes, boss.
When Mr. DeRocha arrives, he'll probably be hungry, so you better pick him something to eat.
Okay.
What have you got in the refrigerator?
White enamel and ice cubes.
Rochester, I happen to know there's some hamburger in the freezing compartment. Now get it out and make some fresh coffee, too.
Yes, sir. Oh, by the way, we're all out of sugar.
No sugar. Well, Rochester, go over to the Ronald Coleman's next door and borrow some.
Okay, boss.
Oh, Benita.
Yes, Ronnie.
Who was that at the door?
It was Mr. Benny's butler, Manchester.
Well, what did Benny want this time?
Just a cup of sugar.
Never have I seen such a man. Borrow.
Oh, darling, don't let it upset you. He only borrows trivial things.
Trivial thing.
Yes. Like yesterday, he was out working on his lawn, and he came over to borrow some oil for the lawnmower.
Did you let him have it?
I thought it best to. After all, it's our lawnmower.
Oh, that man. Just listen to the things he's gotten from us since the first of the month. 1 cup of sugar, 1 can of oil, 1 lawnmower, 1 mix master, 2 slices of bacon, 2 razor blades, 3 onions, 1 brown shoelace. 1 card table, 2 decks of cards, 4 bridge chairs, 1 Dr. Scholl's footpad, a monkey wrench, a screwdriver, 1 Band-Aid, small size, 2 light bulbs, I know I've forgotten several things. It's too difficult memorizing every item.
Oh, why don't you write them down?
He's got my fountain pen, too. My new fountain pen, the one I just received from England.
Oh, Ronnie, you mean the one that writes under tea?
Yes, that's the one. Now, let me see. What else did he borrow?
Well, let it go. It's not important.
Oh, yes, it is. I want to remember them. Now, let's see. There was an umbrella, a half-pound of coffee, the comic section from the Sunday Times. I never did find out whether or not Dick Tracy knocked off goggles.
Don't worry about it. I'll call C. Aubrey Smith. He'll tell us what happened.
Good. Oh, and another thing Benny borrowed. Just the other night. 3 Tootsie Rolls.
Well, he didn't borrow them.
Rita, I distinctly saw you give him those Tootsie Rolls.
I know, but it was Halloween, and he knocked on the door and said,
Yes. Imagine him rolling up his pants legs and knocking on our door and saying, "Please give me some candy, some cake or some pie, and if you don't do it, I'll spit in your eye." And then he curtsied and his toupee fell off.
forget about you. Would you like to go to a movie tonight?
Oh, I don't know. What's playing?
I'll look in the paper and see. As, the Jolson story, Margie, Nobody Lives Forever, Dark Mirror, Undercurrent. That's about all that's showing at the first-run theaters.
Well, check the neighborhood theaters. Lost Horizon must be playing somewhere.
How many more times do we have to sit through? I'll get it. Oh. Hello.
I'm sorry to bother you again, Miss Coleman.
Quite all right. Well, what is it, Francesca?
Well, Mr. Benny wants to serve baked potatoes tonight, and he's all out of potatoes. We'll need 4 of them spare 'em.
All right, I'll get them for you.
And Mr. Benny says he'll only need a half pound of butter this time.
All right, just wait here.
I say, Dorchester.
Yes, Mr. Coleman?
I'm quite curious about something. Is ours the only house in the neighborhood that Mr. Benny borrows from?
Oh, no, sir. You know the people who live in that big house on the corner? The one with the birdhouse in the front lawn?
Yes.
Well, we owe the birds a half dozen eggs.
Well, tell me, as you know, Mr. Benny has borrowed so many things. Do you think he ever intends repaying us?
Oh, I'm quite sure he does. You're mentioned in his will.
Mentioned? In his will?
Yeah, you come right after the birds.
Ah, that's life for you. One day the star of Lost Horizon, the next day second billing to a sparrow. You know, I think that...
There you are, Manchester. I've got everything for you. 4 potatoes, half a pound of butter, and 4 napkins.
But I didn't ask for any napkins.
I know. I thought I'd save you another trip.
Well, thank you very much, Miss Coleman. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Well, how long is Benny going to keep this up? When is it going to stop? I'm asking you, when is this going to stop? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know! Well, I'm going to find some way to... Well, I'll get it this time. Yes?
Pardon me, does Jack Benny live here? I'm Leo DeRocher.
Mr. Benny lives next door, the house on the left. Good night.
Well, thanks. I'll say, haven't I seen you someplace before? I know the movies. You're Ronald Coleman, aren't you?
Yes. Mr. Benny's house is that one right over there. Good night.
Gosh, you're wonderful in the movies. I loved you in Lost Horizon.
Mr. Benny's house... You did? Well, come in. I want you to meet my wife.
Thank you.
Oh, Benita, come here. I want you to meet someone who loved me in... I want you to meet a friend of mine.
Oh, yes, darling. Who is it?
I'd like you to meet Mr. Leo DeRocher.
You don't mean Lippy.
Lippy?
Yes, that's my nickname.
Well, then you two have met before.
Oh, no. But I've read about him in the papers. I think it was in connection with the last election. He was elected mayor of Brooklyn or something.
No, Mrs. Coleman. I manage the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Brooklyn Dodgers?
Yeah, them bums. You know who them bums are, don't you?
Well, we should. We live next door to one.
Ronnie.
Anyway, Benita, the Brooklyn Dodgers is a baseball team.
Thanks.
Oh, so that explains why you're visiting Mr. Benny. He's an important man in baseball, too.
Benny, an important man in baseball?
He must be. He kept Greenberg on third for 2 years.
Oh, no, that's just a gag. Anyway, my visit to Benny is strictly a social one. He's one of my best friends.
Oh, so you're the guest they're expecting for dinner.
I sure am.
Look, would you do us a favor, please? When they pass the butter, take it easy. It's ours.
I'll do my best, Mr. Coleman. You know I haven't seen Benny since the baseball season ended in September. And I was wondering...
Excuse me for interrupting, Leo, but I just noticed you belong to the Elks, don't you?
The Elks?
Yes, those Elks' teeth hanging on your watch chain.
No. These are umpires' teeth.
Umpires? Oh, are umpires animals?
In Brooklyn, yes.
Benita, he's only joking. An umpire is an official in a baseball game. He makes the decisions and even has the power to remove a player from the game and send him to the showers.
My, how sanitary.
Well, I'd better be running along. I'm kind of anxious to see Jack again.
Before you go, Leo, I want to tell you that I felt badly when your team failed to win the pennant.
Oh, well, that's baseball. You just can't figure it. One day you're great, and the next day you stink. Pardon me, Mrs. Coleman.
Quite all right. Mr. Coleman's pictures weren't all great either.
Well, anyway, I brought my team in second, and it's great to know that we still have thousands and thousands of loyal fans.
You certainly have, Leo.
Well, I'd better be running along. I know Benny's waiting for me.
You know, it's rather strange. If you and Benny are such great friends, then why was he so anxious for St. Louis to win the pennant?
St. Louis?
Yes. I remember he used to sit by the radio and cheer every time St. Louis got a hit.
What? Let me get this straight. Did I hear you say that Benny was rooting for St. Louis?
Yes. Yes, that's right.
You're sure there isn't some mistake?
No, you heard him, didn't you, Benita?
Yes.
Well, I'd better run along. It was nice meeting you folks.
Good night, Leo.
Leo! Leo, why did you do that?
A fine pal you are, rooting for St. Louis.
St. Louis? But, Leo, that was the St. Louis Browns in the American League.
Oh, I'm so sorry, pal. Here, let me help you out.
Oh, thanks. Hey, you know what, Leo? You almost had another tooth for your change.
Ladies and gentlemen, the majority of American hospitals now have patients waiting to be admitted. The situation in many areas is growing steadily worse because of insufficient nursing personnel. All young women between the ages of 17 and 35 who are high school or college graduates are urged to apply for admission in any one of the 1,300 accredited schools of nursing. Apply to the one nearest you. Thank you. Jack will be back in just a minute, but first here is my good friend, Mr. F.E. Boone.
American. Let the chant of the tobacco auctioneer remind you that year in, year out, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts.
Independent tobacco experts, auctioneers, buyers, and warehousemen really know tobacco. Mr. William D. Whitley of Henderson, North Carolina, has been an independent tobacco auctioneer for 18 years, and he said,
I speak as an eyewitness when I say that season after season, I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy fine, ripe tobacco. That good, fragrant tobacco that makes a fine smoke. I've smoked Lucky's myself for 13 years.
Quote, I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy fine, ripe tobacco. Unquote. Yes, at market after market, independent tobacco experts like Mr. Whitley can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Yes, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, and fine tobacco means real deep-down smoking enjoyment for you. Remember,
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
So that's what happened last Wednesday night.
Yes, dear.
Well, I'm glad that Mr. Benny and Mr. DeRocha made up.
So am I. And you'd never know Jack had a black eye.
Well, how'd you get rid of it so fast?
He sent Leo over to the Colemans to borrow a stake for it.
Oh. What do you know? Well, you better run along now, dear. You'll be late for rehearsal.
Goodbye, darling.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Good health to all from Rexall.
Sunday, time for the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, presented by the makers of Rexall Drug Products and 10,000 independent Rexall family druggists.
Good evening. This is your Rexall family druggist, taking a little time from behind the prescription counter this Sunday evening to speak for all 10,000 of us. The 10,000 independent druggists who have added the word Rexall to our own store names. You can always tell us by the orange and blue Rexall sign on our windows. The sign means that we carry the 2,000 or more drug products made with the Rexall Drug Company. They range all the way from aspirin to penicillin, and they're as fine and pure and dependable as science can make them. We independent druggists recommend them to our customers because we know you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Good health to all from Rexall. And now your Rexall family druggist brings you the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show. Written by Ray Singer and Dick Chevrolet with Elliot Lewis, Walter Tetley, Robert North, Janine Roos, Ann Whitfield, Walter Sharp and his music. Yours truly, Bill Foreman, and starring Alice Faye and Phil Harris. Most of you must remember that first ordeal of your childhood, having your tonsils removed. This minor crisis has struck the Harris family. And as we look in, Alice is trying to comfort her frightened patient.
Now, look, honey, you mustn't cry. Having your tonsils removed doesn't hurt a bit. You get to stay overnight at the hospital, and in the morning they give you a big heaping plate of ice cream.
I don't care. I don't want my tonsils out. I don't want them out. Do you hear me?
Why not?
Well, because I've become attached to them. They're part of me, and I've learned to love them.
Daddy, there's nothing to it. When the doctor removed my tonsils, I didn't mind it.
Didn't it hurt?
Nah. I didn't mind when he took mine out either. You'll be at the same hospital we were. Oh, it's a lot of fun. They put you to sleep, and when you wake up, a beautiful nurse comes in with a plate of ice cream.
When I'm suffering, I don't want any... Blonde or brunette?
Tutti frutti.
Tutti frutti? What kind of color hair is that? Look, Alice, do I have to have my tonsils taken out today? Can't I put it off for a while? After all, I'm too young for this type of operation.
Too young, he says. What do you want to do, wait until you're 60?
No, but I think a man should have his tonsils removed when he's 40.
Why didn't you? Now, Phil, you can't postpone it. The doctor's made arrangements at the hospital. He's going to operate this afternoon, and that's that.
No. Alice, look, I hate to talk about it, but... Well, I've got to know. Now, when he cuts my tonsils out, will I lose much B-L-U-D?
Oh, not more than 2 K-W-A-R-T-Z.
What do you think they're talking about, Phyllis? I don't know. They must have a language all their own.
Now, girls, run along outside and play, huh?
Oh, Alice, I'm scared.
Now, Phil, the doctor said it's a very simple operation. It's ridiculous to fret about it.
Ridiculous to fret, she says. What am I supposed to do before I go on my operation?
Increase your life insurance, Philip.
One of these days, I'm going to dull his pinking shears. I'll go further than that. I'll tear up every one of his butterick patterns.
Philip, you're a fortunate man. It's a wonderful day for a tonsillectomy.
Oh, the day's got to be nice yet. Where do you think I'm having this done? At the Hollywood Bowl?
No, but a nice day makes one feel more cheerful. By the way, who's performing the operation, Philip?
Dr. Stanley Immerman.
Oh. Well, we all have to go sometime. Personally, I prefer Dr. Arthur J. Rando.
Dr. Immerman is a wonderful surgeon. Why, he's been our family doctor for years.
That's right. Only last year he treated Aunt Harriet for poison ivy. May she rest in peace.
He treated her for poison ivy and she cut. The operation's off. Let's forget it. We're a little late, folks. Good night. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Bong. Bong, bong.
Still come back here. Willie is just teasing you. Aunt Harriet was 102 when she died.
Of what?
Of what? She was crowning the plate and Bob Fella beamed her with a fast one.
Now that I don't believe at all. Go ahead, laugh, make jokes about it. Nobody in this house cares. The only one who realizes the seriousness of this thing is Frankie. When I told him...
Hi, Alice. I brought the beer over for Curly's wake. Too bad.
Frankie.
Oh, are you still alive? Thought you were having your tonsils taken out today.
Not until this afternoon. Gee whiz, Frankie, don't you feel sorry for me?
Why should I? It's a simple operation. I had mine taken out last year.
How was it?
Horrible. Why, do you know that after the operation I couldn't eat any solid food? I was on a liquid diet.
Oh, that must have been a harrowing experience.
Well, it was. For 2 weeks I had to send back the fruit out of the old-fashioned. But you have nothing to worry about if you have a good doctor with a steady hand. Who is cutting your tonsils out?
Dr. Immerman.
Immerman? Oh, you mean old Butterfingers.
Cut that kid. Dr. Immerman is the best surgeon in town.
How much does he charge you?
$75.
$75? That's highway robbery. You don't have to pay that kind of money.
Well, where can I get it done cheaper?
I know a guy.
Look, Remley, you can forget about a guy.
No, he'll clip him out quick. He used to do all the clipping in the Army.
Well, what was he, a barber?
Of course not. He's the guy who used to go up ahead and snip the barbed wire.
Must you jest at a time like this?
Pardon.
No, but do you realize that an awful thing could happen to me, Remley? This operation could affect my voice, and I won't be able to sing anymore.
True. But what awful thing could happen?
Now, wait. Just a minute, Mr. Remley. My voice happens
Now, take it easy, Curly. I'm only kidding. I guarantee nothing will happen to your voice.
How do you know? You're just saying that to make me feel good. I'll tell you what, Frankie. I'll sing for you now. And listen closely, Frankie. Remember, this may be the last time you'll ever hear me sing.
You're just saying that to make me feel good.
Now, Elmer Jones arose at dawn and put his hunting breeches on, then looked up at his shotgun on the wall. He made his mind up then and there to bag himself a hunk of bear. At shooting, he had plenty on the ball. He milked the cow and fed the hog, then kissed his wife and called the dog, picked up his gun and started on his quest. He crossed the creek and hit the trees, threw back his head and sniffed the breeze, let out a yell and pounded on his chest.
Here comes Elmer, Elmer's got his gun. Here comes Elmer, run, bear, run.
He hunted all the morning through, but not a bear came into view while Elmer's thoughts were on the kitchen range. For he was sick as he could be of lamb and chicken fricassee and craved a mess of bear meat for a change. Poor Elmer's mind was in a fog. He paused and sat down on a log to get his faculties back in the groove. He heard a noise, and standing there before him was a grizzly bear, and figured it was time he made his move.
Here comes Elmer, Elmer's got his gun. Here comes Elmer, run, bear, run.
Grabbed his gun and turned around, but Mr. Bear just stood his ground, and Elmer said, it's either me or thou. gun refused to go, and so he knew that somebody had to go and said, farewell, I'm leaving as of now. As Elmer's shoulders sprouted wings, his feet developed inner springs. To linger longer, he was disinclined. He ran so fast through muck and mire, his ankles set his socks afire. Still, that bear kept coming on behind.
Here comes Elmer. Elmer's got his gun. Here comes Elmer. Run, bear, run.
A deer with antler 8 feet wide got in the way of Elmer's stride as both of them went heading for the brush. And Elmer said, now listen, son, if that's the fastest you can run, move over, because I'm really in a rush. The bear was gaining inch by inch and finally reached out for the clinch as Elmer saw the fence around his place. He leaped the fence and landed hard, jumped 60 feet across the yard and slammed the kitchen door in Bruin's face.
Here comes Elmer. Elmer's got his gun. Here comes Elmer. Run, bear, run.
The bear was trying to get inside while Elmer sought a place to hide, and Mrs. Jones began to pull her hair. She said, this fuss has got to stop. Why don't you let that matter drop? And Elmer said, honey, you go tell that to the bear. Then Elmer's wife said, listen, Goon, how come you think you're Daniel Boone, whose appetite on bear meat used to thrive? He said, I'm sure that you're aware that Daniel always killed his bear, but honey, I done brought this baby home alive.
Here comes Elmer. Elmer's got his gun. Here comes Elmer. Run, bear, run.
Well, you'd better get ready. We'll have to leave for the hospital in a few minutes.
No, honey, no, I don't. Oh, Frankie, I'm afraid to go to the hospital.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Oh, Frankie, I don't want to go.
Bring the groceries in.
I never wanted
What's
to.
wrong with Stella down?
Go away, Julius. I'm a sick man.
Oh, that's a shame, Mr. Harris. What's wrong?
I'm going to the hospital for an operation. What's so funny? I'm having my tonsils taken out and everybody's laughing. I'm frightened.
Frightened about having your tonsils taken out? Hey, you big sissy.
There's nothing to it, Curly. It's a cinch.
Yeah, it's easy for you to say that. You don't have to go. Oh, gee. I feel like a condemned man.
Well, Phil, it's time to go.
I don't want to go, do you hear me? I ain't going to go.
There's no use fighting it, baby face. Go with the warden.
Don't crack up now, pal. Walk that last mile like a man.
Harris is getting his tonight.
I can't bear to watch it when the lights dim.
Swing low, sweet child. Coming for to carry me. Will you guys stop?
Oh, leave him alone, fellas. Come on, Phil. The chair is... I mean the doctor. Let's get to the hospital, huh? Hollywood Memorial Hospital. Oh, Mrs. Daniels is resting very comfortably. You're welcome.
Nurse, hasn't my wife had her baby yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, how can she be so inconsiderate? How can she torture me like this?
Now, Mr. Phillips, just go back to the father's waiting room and relax. I'll call you.
Okay, thanks. This is the third time, and she always keeps me waiting. I'll never learn.
Oh, Phil, come on, will you?
Don't rush me. I want a little time to think it over.
See me drag you. You haven't acted this way since the day I led you to the altar. Oh, hello. Is there anything I can do for you folks?
No, thanks. We're just browsing.
Yes, I'm Mrs. Harris. Mr. Harris has a reservation for a tonsillectomy. Oh, yes, we've been expecting you. You'll have to wait a few minutes, Mr. Harris. The doctor isn't quite ready for you yet.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, Alice, I feel a little weak. I'm going to sit down.
You go ahead, Phil.
Never felt so shaky in my life. Oh, here's a waiting room. I'll just go in and sit down and... Oh, hello, mister.
Hello. You waiting, too?
Yeah, I'm here for...
Oh, you don't have to tell me. I recognize the symptoms. Hey, you look shaky. This must be your first time, huh? I've been through this 3 times.
You mean this can happen again?
Well... It's been known to.
How big are they as a rule?
My first one weighed 7 pounds, 3 ounces.
Didn't you have trouble finding collars to fit you? What did it look like?
It was the image of my wife.
Your wife must be a very unusual-looking woman.
Oh, but what a thrill you'll get when they put the little thing in your arms.
They give it to you? What are you supposed to do with it?
Wrap it in a blanket and take it home. What do you expect to do with yours?
Well, I hadn't made any plans for it.
Well, I guess there's time for that. What are you hoping for, a boy or a girl?
Do they come in sexes?
Do they come in... Oh, mister, I'd better have a little talk with you. How soon do you expect this event to take place?
In about 15 minutes. See, my wife said she'd come in and let me know when the doctor's ready.
She's coming in and let you...
The doctor's almost ready.
Oh, okay, honey. Oh, by the way, mister, this is my wife.
This is your wife? And in 15 minutes? Oh, excuse me, I gotta get some air.
He acted awfully peculiar.
You'd act peculiar, too, if you had a wife that looked like a tonsil.
Well, Phil, you'll be going up to the operating room in 5 minutes.
Alice, how can you be so matter-of-fact about it? Don't you have any feelings? I don't think you care.
Well, you know I care. If you don't believe me, look at me. Once I cared for no one. I didn't care if the moon fell apart. I went around with a chip on my heart. Now look at me, take a look at me. A miracle has happened. Each little dream seems to fit into place. Can't tell the sun from the smile on my face. Just look at me and see. I like this brand new feeling of dancing on the ceiling. It only goes to show you how nice it is to know you. I'm on my way to heaven. I know I won't have to go very far, long as we stay just the way that we are. Just look at me, take a look at me. You'll see a gal in love. Want me forever and tell me you'll never stop looking forever one moment. I like your charming chatter, especially when you flatter. It only goes to show you how nice it is to know you. I'm on my way to heaven. I know I won't have to go very far, long as we stay just the way that we are. Just look at me, take a look at me. You'll see a gal in love.
can you sing at a time like this? Gee whiz, how can you be so heartless?
Now, Phil, please believe me. I'm not being heartless.
Harris, we're ready for you in the operating room.
The operating room? Oh, no. No, I'm not going. Oh, I can't go. I could just see them all standing around the table, and the doctor and the nurse and the anesthetist.
Now, Mr. Harris, lie perfectly still while we administer the anesthetic.
Doctor, I tell you, I don't want my tonsils out. I want to get out of here. Oh, doctor, I want to romp in the fields. I want to feel the sun. I want to feel the rain in my hair. I want to...
Oh, shut
up! Doctor, that's no way to talk to an invalid.
Now, Mr. Harris, I'm putting this ether cone over your face, and I want you to count slowly. By the time you reach 15, you'll be asleep. Now, count.
5, 10, 15. I'm not asleep yet. It didn't work. Operation called off on account of bad either. See you around, Doc. You're looking good.
Get back there. Now, count to 15. Or can't you count that high?
Don't be a wise doctor. I can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King, I'm floating through space. Where are they taking me? Oh, today's the day I'm going to be operated on. Oh, they're all laughing at me. Alice, Frankie, Julius, and Willie. They don't care what happens to me. Look at me. I'm on the operating table and nobody's here. Nurse! Nurse!
What's on your mind, kiddo?
Alice, what are you doing in a nurse's uniform, and why are you talking like you used to before you got into picture?
Quiet. Here comes the doctor now.
Well, thank goodness you're here, Doctor. You're the doctor?
You said it, Max. I'm Dr. Barrett.
Julius.
No, Paul.
Paul Barrett.
And I'm his assistant, Dr. Seidel.
Frankie.
No, Homer.
Homer Seidel. Oh, no, let me out of here.
Right down. I'm ready to operate. Nice, my gloves.
Which one do you want, the first baseman or the catcher's mitt?
We'll do it without gloves.
Now, Mr. Harris, what do you want us to take out? We're having a special today. Adenoids, $25. Appendix, $35. Liver, $45. With onions, 15 cents extra.
Look, fellas, all I want is my tonsils out.
Oh, of course. Nice, take your shoes off.
My shoes? My tonsils are in my throat.
We're doing it the hard way. Let's now see. Nice, what's the patient's temperature?
101.
Pulse?
74.
Blood count?
90 proof.
Only 90 proof. Somebody's been watering it.
We're ready, nurse. Hand me my knife. Better sprinkle some ashes on it.
Ashes?
Yeah, it keeps slipping. Now open your mouth, Harris.
Wait a minute now. Aren't you going to give me ether first?
Nah, let's rough it. Now, nurse, this is a very delicate procedure, and I'll need your help. I'll approach the tonsil through the esophagus, I'll bypass the larynx, and at that precise moment, you're to apply the suture quickly to the pituitary gland.
No kidding.
I disagree with your prognosis, Doctor. There's a more professional way to remove this man's tonsils.
How?
You tie a finger on him, and I'll open the door fast.
Never mind. I'll do it the right way.
All right, open your mouth. Doctor, my forceps.
Forceps.
Knife.
Knife.
Scalp him.
Oh,
that's scalpel. show, Tommy. A big show.
Shall we go around once more?
All right, Nurse, you can help now. Get suture in.
Suture in.
Suture in. Clamps down.
Clamps down.
Fire torpedo tube number 1.
Achtung! Deutschland über alles!
Das ist ein lousy Tanzel.
Ja, das ist ein lousy Tanzel. Lousy Tanzel.
Oh, let me out of here. What are you people doing to me? Oh! Where am I? What happened?
Well, they operated on you last night, Bill, and you're doing fine.
They took out my tonsil. Tell me, Alice, who does it look like?
Oh. Well, he's still a little delirious, I see. But if you want to see your tonsil, Mr. Harris, I have it right here.
May I hold it? Gee, it's cute. So you're my little tonsil.
Good morning, Philip.
Oh, no, I got a tonsil that talks like Willie.
Alice and Phil will be back in just a moment. But first, here's your Rexall family druggist.
Every year, accidents in the home and on the highways continue to take more lives than any disease or illness. Yet many of these lives could have been saved by proper first aid. That's why the National Association of Retail Druggists has proclaimed next week National First Aid Week. And during this week, the 10,000 independent Rexall druggists of America invite you to do two things. First, do everything you can to prevent accidents, but when they happen, be prepared. First, by knowing what to do, and second, by making sure your medicine chest contains all the things you need to do it. Now, your own Rexall family druggist will be glad to tell you the essential first aid items you should always have on hand. What's more, he carries Rexall's complete first aid line. Everything from sterile cotton and handy gauze pads to the proper antiseptics, surgical powder, burn remedies, plus certain Rexall exclusives, like Rexall's new ProCap adhesive tape and Rexall quick bands. He'll also be glad to show you the specially designed first aid kits, priced at 98 cents to $2.10. These always-ready, room-saving Rexall kits contain all the necessaries for simple first aid, including a manual of first aid instructions. Look for these products wherever you see the orange and blue Rexall sign on the window. And remember, when accidents do happen, it's good to know you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Good health to all from Rexall.
Alice, honey, I'll be home soon. I'm going down to the taxidermist.
What for?
I'm going to have my tonsil mounted. I think it'll look much better over the fireplace than that moose head.
This program was produced and directed by Paul Phillips. Included in today's cast were Jacqueline DeWitt, Ted Von Elst, and John Beal. The part of Frankie Remley was played by Elliot Lewis, and Julius was played by Walter Tetley. Alice Faye appeared through the courtesy of 20th Century Fox. This is Bill Foreman wishing good health to all from Rexall.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Here they are, the Quiz Kids, presented by the makers of Alka-Seltzer. We're on the air with the School Kids Questionnaire. The Quiz Kids, 5 bright, lovable youngsters ready for another difficult examination in the Alka-Seltzer Schoolroom of the Air. The examination tonight will be conducted in exactly the same manner as all our regular Wednesday night Quiz Kid programs. And as usual, none of the children has seen or heard any of the questions in advance.
I'll say we haven't. Let's get going.
All questions were sent in by you listeners and were selected by Sidney L. James of the editorial staffs of Time and Life magazine.
I don't care who sent them in. Let's get going.
A new Zenith portable radio will be awarded the sender of each question used on this program tonight. And now our chief quizzer himself, Joe Kelly.
Thank you, Ken Carpenter, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we'll proceed directly to the roll call. Richard?
I'm Richard Williams. I'm 11 years old, and I'm in the 6th grade at Harrison School, East Chicago, Indiana.
Jack Lucal?
I'm Jack Lucal. I'm 14 years old, and I'm a freshman at the Oak Park and River Forest Township High School.
Joan?
I'm Joan Bishop. I'm 14 years old, and I go to the Chicago School for Adults.
Claude?
I'm Claude Brenner. I'm 12 years old, and I'm a sophomore at Senn High School in Chicago.
Gerard?
I'm Gerard Darrow. I'm 8 years old, and I go to the Bradwell School on Burnham.
And Jackie?
I am Jackie Benny. I am 6 years old. Now, I didn't have a chance to go to school at all. I was just a poor boy, and I used to stand on the corner selling papers, barefooted in the winter. And I used to say, extra, extra, paper here. Get your paper.
Quiet, please.
Fine chance I'm going to have here, I can see that. You know.
Now, Jackie,
I know
please.
just as much as the kids, you know. You just ask the questions, that's all.
Jackie, please. And incidentally, where are your curls?
What?
Where are your curls?
On my lap. They got hot.
Well, while we're getting ready for our first question, just a word or two from Ken Carpenter.
Here's a word of friendly advice to all you parents and older folks. Alkalize with Alka-Seltzer. Yes, the next time you eat too much or too fast or eat while under stress and strain, alkalize with Alka-Seltzer. Alka-Seltzer is just the thing to relieve the misery of acid indigestion and distress after meals. It helps to neutralize excess stomach acid, so often the immediate cause of the distress of an upset stomach. That isn't all. You see, Alka-Seltzer is a pain reliever also. And if you have a sickish headache along with the stomach upset, Alka-Seltzer can bring you mighty comforting relief in both of these disturbances. Be wise. Take Alka-Seltzer. You'll feel better fast.
You said it.
Quiet, please. We will now start with the questions. All right, quiz kids. R.S. Hart of Seattle, Washington says that he was in the desert and after taking an analysis of the only water available, found that it was 100% aqua fontis. Would you drink such water? Joan?
Yes, I would.
Well, can you give us anything further?
Well, aqua fontis is fountain water.
That's right. It's really spring water, Joan.
Oh,
yeah, spring water,
yeah.
Joan. That's right, Mr. Kelly. It's spring water.
Yes, I know. It says so on my card here.
I know. That's where I saw it before.
All right, the next question. Pete McDonald of Vernonia, Oregon, a schoolboy who says that he never enjoyed anything in school but recess until he began listening to the quiz kids, sends in this one. Incidentally, he adds that his grades are improving. Here it is. If you had something that contained a prothorax, a mesothorax, and a metathorax...
A meso what?
What did you say?
A meso what?
A mesothorax.
Oh, a mesothorax.
That's right. And a metathorax, what would you have? Gerard?
Gerard, you answer. You had your hand up first.
Now, Mr. Benny, don't butt in, please.
Well, I just thought... I can see I'm certainly going to have a fine chance here today.
The
All right, Gerard.
mesothorax and the metathorax and the prothorax are all part of the thorax, which is part of the of an insect. On the thorax is the part between the abdomen and the head, and an insect.
Well, good for you, Gerard. That was marvelous. That's very good.
I used to know that when I went to school, but, you know, when you get older, you forget those things. That's all. Can't remember everything.
Now, our next question.
I used to know algebra, too, when I went to school.
Quiet, please.
Oh.
Mrs. Burdette E. Truesdon of New York City says you can prove you have a good background by naming at least 3 persons whose names will live forever because their names have been used to identify their chief contribution to humanity. For example, the name of Roentgen is perpetuated in the word Roentgenology. Claude?
Nobel. He was a Swiss scientist who discovered dynamite, and he gives out prizes to people who do something great for the world.
That's fine, Claude. Let's see what Joan has to offer.
Well, there's Calvinism. That's a doctrine as to the downfall of man. And Darwinism, the theory of anthropology.
Very good, Joan. Jack Lucal?
Well, there's Alessandro Volta. His name is perpetuated in the volt, by which we measure electricity. And James Watt, they use his name, too, for the watt. That's really
nice going, Jack Lucal. Let's see, Richard?
Well, Martin Luther in the word Lutheran, which is a church, and Dr. Roentgen, who discovered the Roentgen rays.
That's very, very good, Richard. Jackie has his hand up. What?
Well, there's a fellow named Max. He had something to do with the Maxwell. Maxwell.
Now, wait a minute, Jackie. There's no connection there.
There is, too. A fellow named Max sold me my car. There it is. Max Maxwell. Name was Max Miller. Certainly got a fine chance on this program, believe me. Should have stayed on my own Jello show.
It's beside the point, but we'll accept it as half right.
Well, about time.
Claude?
Also, there's Jean-Francois Ampere. He had something to do with electricity, and his name lives in the ampere.
Oh, the ampere.
That's
the
right,
ampere.
Claude. Jack Lucal.
Well, there's Cadillac and LaSalle were French explorers, and their names are names of automobiles.
Very good, Jack Lucal. I guess that will hold Jackie for a while. All right, our next question.
Of course, if everybody's going to get laughs on this program, I'm going home.
Gerard?
Well, there's also DeSoto, who was named and he was a Spanish explorer that found the Mississippi.
That's right, Gerard. I'm glad you brought that up. Now then...
What about Johnny Chev that made the Chevrolet? For heaven's sake. You're going to go into that kind of stuff, you know. Johnny Chev. What about Harry Stood? That stuff.
Well,
I can answer a million of them, you know. Just ask me the questions, that's all.
We'll all withdraw from the garage right now and get into our next question. Miss Margaret Faith of Camden, New Jersey, poses this mountain climbing and mathematics problem. A mountain climber was making his way along a mountainside ledge.
Wait, pardon me. Who was it asked the question, you see?
Miss Margaret Faith of Camden, New Jersey.
Oh, Camden, New
Yes.
Jersey, I see. Important question.
Let's see, where are... Oh, yeah, here I am, right here. A mountain climber was making his way along a mountainside ledge at an altitude of 6,440 feet. While edging his way, he accidentally kicked a rock which went flying toward the bottom of the mountain at some animals who had to scurry for shelter. Ignoring the friction of the air, how long did the animals have to reach safety before the rock hit? Now, you've got to do this in your heads, kids. No pencil and paper.
What is the last question again, please? How long did it take what?
Well, that is the question. How long did it take?
1 minute and 43 seconds.
That's wrong.
Certainly got a fine chance here.
Richard?
20 seconds.
20 seconds is correct.
Well, no wonder. He squared the root. I tripled it.
Well, nice going, kids, and though I don't think you need it, you can rest a moment now. It's recess time.
We've been telling you over and over again about Alka-Seltzer. We've told you how good it is, how convenient and economical, and how fast it can bring relief in the distress of so many common ailments. And now suppose we let Alka-Seltzer speak for itself. All right, first of all, we take 2 Alka-Seltzer tablets from the package and drop them into a glass of water. Listen. You hear that fizzing, sparkling sound? Sounds good, doesn't it? Well, it is good. It looks good, tastes good, and is so good for relief in so many common ailments. That's Alka-Seltzer, all right. The 2-in-1 remedy. 2 kinds of relief in one glass. First, Alka-Seltzer is a pain reliever, just what you want for relief of headache or sore aching muscles. And second, Alka-Seltzer is an alkalizer, just what you need when excess acid upsets your stomach and causes distress. Be sure to try a sparkling glass of Alka-Seltzer the next time any of these annoying ailments cause you trouble. See for yourself how good it is, how fast it can make you feel better. Ask your druggist for Alka-Seltzer. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Quiz Kids, presented every Wednesday night at this time by the makers of Alka-Seltzer. Now, just a word about the questions. You can win a new Zenith portable radio with patented built-in wave magnet if you send us a question which our question editor finds suitable for use on the air. Yes, Alka-Seltzer awards a famous Zenith portable radio for each question used on this program. Just mail your questions by postcard or letter to Quiz Kids, National Broadcasting Company, Chicago. That's Quiz Kids, National Broadcasting Company, Chicago. We reserve the right to reword questions, and if like questions are submitted, the first received will be used. All questions become the property of Quiz Kids. So send in your question and win a radio.
You better see that I get that $100 bond, too. That's all I worry about.
All right, Joe, you ready with the scores, the halfway point?
Yes, Ken, but in deference to our guest contestant, I hesitate to read them. I think I'll just let them go until after the second question session. Maybe a miracle will happen. By the way, Richard, that last question we had before the bell, can you tell us how you work that out?
Well, Mr. Kelly, anybody falling through space, disregarding the friction of the air, accelerates at the rate of 32 2/10 miles feet per second. And the rule is the distance equals the time in seconds squared times half of the acceleration per second. And in this case, it was 6,440 feet equals 16 1/10 times the time squared. So I divided 6,440 by 16 1/10 and got 400, which is the square of the time in seconds. And I extracted the square root, and that gave me 20. And so the answer is 20 seconds.
Good for you, Richard, my boy.
You see, where I made my mistake there, you see, I took the least common multiple there. That's where I got wrong. That's where I got the minute 43 seconds in there, you see. I sort of square rooted it there.
Yes, that's what I say.
Yeah.
Well, let's get along here now. Here's a question from Mrs. Daniel Stormont of Evanston, Illinois.
5,280 feet is 1 mile.
What? What did
I said 5,280 feet is 1 mile.
Well, nobody asked that one.
Well, if they do, I'm ready. Watch out.
All right, we'll continue.
All right.
If you told the election board you were a mugwump, would you be listed as a Republican, Democrat, Socialist, or Independent? Now, there is a tough one. If you told the election board you were a mugwump, would you be listed as a Republican, Democrat, Socialist, or Independent?
I wouldn't tell anybody I was a mugwump. So ridiculous. Huh, Claude?
Well, Claude,
I'll take a guess. I say an independent.
That's right, but how did you guess it?
I just guessed.
Oh, you just guessed. That's right. You see, the political name of Mugwump, well, let's see what Joan has to say.
Well, I rather thought it was independent, too, because there's a column in one of our Chicago papers called Mugwump.
That's true.
Politics.
But you see, the political name of Mugwump started in 1884 when it was applied to supporters of James G. Blaine, who switched to Cleveland because of his civil service views. Blaine was Republican candidate for president. Jackie?
I know what a mugwump is.
Oh.
You do?
You see, a
All
mugwump is a bird that sits on the fence with its mug on one end and its wump on the other.
Have a little more discipline, please.
Well,
getting back to the political situation, Jackie Benny, who was president of the United States in 1901?
Grover Cleveland.
That's wrong.
Well, I ought to know. I voted for him. It was Grover Cleveland.
You're wrong. It was William McKinley.
Just wish I had a history book, brother. That's all.
I've got one.
Well, give it to me. I got a low chair here. Grover Cleveland, that's who it was.
Let's continue with the next question. Pauline Salzman of Grand Rapids, Michigan, found these ads in the paper.
Cleveland, you know. I know Grover Cleveland. But...
Quiet, please. I'd like to present this question. Pauline Salzman of Grand Rapids, Michigan, found these ads in the paper. She would like you to tell her just what is advertised. Here's the first item. For rent, colonial estate near Charlottesville, Virginia, designed by owner. Adjoining buildings make estate virtually a community. Right owner, T.J., Charlottesville, Virginia. Jackie Benny, you're holding your hand up.
I'm waving at some friends in the audience. I can have friends in the audience, can't I? Hello, Mamie.
Well, let's complete this question. Richard?
Monticello.
Monticello, the home of...
Thomas Jefferson.
That's right,
That's
Richard.
right.
Good for you. Here's the next item. For sale.
Friends in the audience, you know. What the devil? I didn't know you're superior.
Quiet, please. Here's the second part of this question. For sale, sacrifice, $10 million marble building in the land of Veda. Stands on 313-foot square marble terrace. Absolutely unique as architect's eyes poked out after construction completed. Claude?
That's the Taj Mahal.
The Taj Mahal in India. Good for you.
And it took 22,000 men 22 years to build it. And I'm right about Grover Cleveland, too. Only about Grover Cleveland, you know.
Now, we'll continue. Frank O. Estes of Towson, Maryland, sends in this one. Last week, his wife went shopping to get her girlfriend's gift. She bought Sue a green umbrella for $2.95. Ellen a blue scarf for $2.50. Joanne a brown leather pocketbook for $2.99. And Priscilla a yellow sports skirt for $3. What was the color of the scarf for Ellen? Joan?
Blue.
Blue is right. Good for you.
1901 was Grover Cleveland. I know because I won a pair of cloth-top shoes on the election. Remember that.
We'll forget about Grover Cleveland.
I won't forget about it.
Well, this next question here...
Burns me up, you know. You come over here...
Quiet, please.
Do the best you can.
Tommy Haycomb.
Tommy Haycomb.
Now, Jackie.
Tommy Haycomb.
I'm reading a name.
All right. Read the name.
All right. Quiet. Tommy Haycomb.
I'm not getting paid for this, you know. I just came over. That's what burns me up, you know.
Connie Haycomb. Listen, Jackie.
Yes.
I'm beginning to think that you're getting into what little hair I've got left.
Well, I can always tell you where to get a toupee. You know?
Quiet. Connie Haytop of Minneapolis, Minnesota wants you to sing or hum these notes as I give them to you, and stop me as soon as you recognize the scales you are singing. All right, here's the first one. C.
Oh. That was Joan.
All right, Joan. D.
Oh.
E flat.
Oh.
F.
Oh.
G.
Oh.
A flat.
Oh.
B.
Oh.
C.
Oh.
Do you recognize the scale?
That's the harmonic minor.
That's very good. All right. Here's
if
the
I
next
had my
one.
violin here, I'd have gotten it.
Here's the next one. C.
Oh.
C sharp.
Oh.
D.
Oh.
D sharp.
Oh.
E.
Oh.
F.
Oh.
I'll tell you what we're going to do. We've got some other hands up. I'm going to give this one to Claude.
That's a chromatic.
Chromatic is correct. Good for you, Claude. And here is the last one. C.
Oh.
D.
Oh.
E flat.
Oh.
F.
Oh.
G.
Oh.
A.
Oh.
B.
Oh.
C.
Oh.
B flat. Richard?
That's the melodic.
Melodic is good. Good for you, kids.
One of the silliest questions I've ever heard. Ask me something once in a while.
Now, quiz kids, you'll need
Waving
mythology.
my hand all the time. Nobody even calls on you. Understand? It's a big dope.
You'll need mythology as well as ornithology to answer this one. Ethel Baker of St. Louis, Missouri, wants to know why peacock
Is that
feathers...
Paul Baker's sister?
Ethel?
That is Paul Baker's sister, is it?
When you want to talk, Jackie, will you please hold up your hand?
Because I know an Ethel Baker, you know.
I
That was
see.
Paul Baker's sister.
Well, remember to hold up your hand when you want to say something.
All right, I'll hold up my hand. For goodness sake, you sit there. What are you, the boss or something?
Quiet, please.
Last time I'll come on this show.
You're telling us. Now, let's see, where am I? Oh, yes, here I am right here.
I care, but it's just...
Ethel Baker of St. Louis, Missouri wants to know why peacock feathers are spotted. Gerard?
The peacock has eyes in his tail feathers because of a mere myth. You see, when a long time ago, when Jupiter married Juno, after a few years, he became jealous of her, and he turned her into a calf. And he sent Argus to watch her. But Juno turned herself right back into her regular form, and Argus was the one that had 100 eyes in his head. And Juno killed Argus and put the eyes in the peacock's tail.
Well, thank you very much, Gerard. That was a very fine description. Jackie, I see you've got your hand up.
I'm wiping my forehead. It's hot here. He can raise his hand.
Fine, we'll continue.
Ridiculous questions I ever heard.
James Wilson, Jr. of Toledo, Ohio, wants you to compose a second line to his one-line verse. Here it is. Fred Allen has a funny show.
I'm going home.
Now, you keep your seat. All right, Fred Allen has a funny show. Let's hear a second line to that. Joan?
Fred Allen has a funny show, but there's not a thing he doesn't know.
Very good, Joan. All right, let's have another one.
Funny about that show, boy.
Gerard?
When Mr. Benny hears that, he'll surely blow.
All right, Jackie, what have you got to offer?
Fred Allen has a funny show. How he does it, I don't know. His jokes are old, his gags ain't funny. He ought to be paid in Confederate money. The end. Now
then, here is really one for you, Jackie Benny. Listen to
Time.
this.
My father's listening in.
Yeah. All right, tell me, how many strings on a violin?
5. 4.
Yeah.
4.
Very good. How do you spell rosin?
R-O-S-O-N. Rosin.
That's wrong. It's R-O-S-I-N.
Can't understand it. I've been using it for years.
Well, there's the bell, kids. I'll have your scores in just a moment.
If you had your vitamins today, well, here's the answer to your daily vitamin A and D problem. Take one-a-day brand vitamin A and D tablets, now offered and guaranteed by the makers of Alka-Seltzer. Each one-a-day tablet is equal in vitamin A and D content to 2 whole teaspoonfuls of cod liver oil, meeting minimum United States pharmacopoeia standards. One a day is all you take, one a day is all you need, and a penny a day is all it costs. Listen to these low prices. 30 tablets, 35 cents, 90 tablets, only 85 cents, and 180 tablets, only $1.50. One a day is all you take, and 1 penny a day is all it costs. Remember, one-a-day brand vitamin A and D tablets have been developed and are guaranteed by the makers of Alka-Seltzer, tested and approved by Good Housekeeping Bureau, and commended by Consumer Service Bureau of Parents Magazine. Every member of your family should take one-a-day tablets every day. Ask your druggist for one-a-day tablets. That's the name, one-a-day brand. Look for the big 1 on the package.
Just when I got rolling, the show had to be over.
Well, kids, as a group, you missed only one question tonight, and the individual winners are Richard first, Joan second, and Claude third.
Of course, I knew I wouldn't be in it.
I congratulate you. I congratulate you, as I said before. I congratulate all you quiz kids and take pleasure in presenting to each of you, in behalf of the makers of Alka-Seltzer, a $100 denomination United States savings bond. And Jackie Benny, I don't have one for you. You see, these bonds are to help the children pay for their future education, and we didn't think you'd spend your money in going to college. But here's a Zenith portable radio. Maybe you can learn something listening to the quiz kids every Wednesday night.
Well, at least I can hawk the radio. I can get something.
Friends, we'll be back in Chicago next week, and we'll resume competition with only the 3 highest scorers remaining for the succeeding examination. The 3 winners on our last competitive program were Claude, Richard, and Jack. Completing the board will be Gerard and Joan, the same children on the program tonight. Meanwhile, this is Joe Kelly dismissing the Quiz Kids class until next Wednesday at this same time. Good night, kids.
Come on,
Good night,
answer more
Kelly.
questions. Let's get going here. Come on.
Listen again next Wednesday night to the Quiz Kids. The makers of Alka-Seltzer present 3 programs each week, all of them on NBC networks. On Friday night, Alec Templeton Time. On Saturday night, the famous Alka-Seltzer National Barn Dance. And next Wednesday night again, the Quiz Kids. For interesting variety and entertainment, listen to the Alka-Seltzer shows. Ken Carpenter speaking. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Dennis Day is brought to you by Palmolive Soap and Luster Cream Shampoo. Palmolive Soap, your beauty hope. Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous dream girl hair. Dennis Day Show with Barbara Eiler, Bea Benaderet, George Dooning in the orchestra, and yours truly, Vern Smith, is written by Frank Galen and stars our popular young singer in A Day in the Life of Dennis Day. Here's Dennis to sing his RCA Victor recording of Clancy Lowered the Boom.
Now Clancy was a peaceful man, if you know what I mean. The cops picked up the pieces after Clancy left the scene. He never looked for trouble, that's a fact you can assume. But nevertheless, when trouble would press, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy! Oh, that Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom. Boom, 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 boom. O'Leary was the fighting man, they all knew he was tough. He strutted round the neighborhood, shooting off his guff. He picked a fight with Clancy, then and there he sealed his doom. Before you could shout, O'Leary, look out! Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, Clancy left the barber shop with tonic on his hair. He walked into the pool room and he met O'Reilly there. O'Reilly said, for goodness sake, now do I smell perfume? Before you could stack your cue in the rack, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy! Oh, that Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom. Boom, 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 boom. The neighbors all turned out for Kate O'Grady's wedding night. McDougal said, let's have some fun, I think I'll start a fight. He wrecked the hall, then kissed the bride and pulverized the groom. Then quick as a wink, before you could think, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy! Oh, that Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, that Clancy! Oh, that Clancy! Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom. Boom, 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 boom. I tell you, it was the grandest sight you ever did see when Clancy lowered the boom.
And now, here is a very important announcement. Palmolive Soap is giving away $67,000, a grand prize of $25,000 in one lump sum, or $100 a month for life.
And that's not all. There are thousands of prizes in Palmolive's big treasure chest contest.
1949 Ford sedans,
Westinghouse laundromats,
From Silver Fox scarves,
Toastmaster toasters.
Yes, 2,336 prizes in all.
And it's easy to enter. Complete the last line of this jingle.
A fresher, brighter-looking skin is something I would like to win. I'll get Palmolive soap today. Di-da, 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 di-da.
Write your last line on a plain sheet of paper or get an official entry blank from your dealer which gives you the easy rules. Include your own and dealer's name and address and mail with the black bands from one regular and one bath-size cake of Palmolive soap to Palmolive, Box 92, New York 8, New York.
And now, here's the jingle once more.
A fresher, brighter-looking skin is something I would like to win. I'll get Palmolive soap today. Di-da, 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 di-da.
Mail your entry blank with the black bands from Palmolive soap to Palmolive, Box 92, New York 8, New York. Enter early, enter often. Well, when Mr. Anderson was called out of town suddenly on business yesterday, his wife was heard to remark that now she and her daughter Mildred would be alone without a man in the house. And what puzzled our young hero Dennis Day is that she was looking right at him when she said it. But Mrs. Anderson could have been mistaken, for our hero has stepped into the breach completely, shouldering her husband's duties and responsibilities perfectly. Indeed, he's become the man of the Anderson household. If you don't believe it, just listen.
Dennis Day, will you please get through scrubbing that floor?
Yes, Poopsie.
And stop calling me Poopsie.
Very well, passion fruit.
Dennis, I'm warning you.
Gee, Mrs. Anderson, I'm only trying to keep you from missing your husband.
Well, you're not succeeding. Now let the rest of that floor go till later. I'm trying to work out the household budget.
Yes, ma'am.
Not that I ever will, with more going out every week than there is coming in. I tell you, trying to run a house with prices what they are, have you any idea what it's like to be a woman these days?
Oh, no, ma'am, and according to my birth certificate, I imagine I'll always be in the dark.
Well, it's awful. I swear I
I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet. Especially when I have a boarder who's exactly 3 months behind in his room rent.
Oh, you've been keeping track too, huh?
I have. And you ought to be ashamed of yourself. After the way I coddled you and catered to you. Didn't I spend practically all last Tuesday just shopping for a pillow for your bed?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Sleeping on a pillow is fine, but it's really no substitute for a mattress.
You've got a mattress, and you know it.
Oh, sure. I know it's a mattress, and you know it's a mattress, but my stupid back thinks it's a marble slab.
The nerve of you complaining. Nobody could be nicer to you than I am. And what thanks do I get?
Gee, I'm sorry, Mrs. Anderson. If they're really bad, well, maybe you could rent my room to someone else.
Someone else? But where would you sleep?
I can sleep down in the cellar.
You actually mean that? You wouldn't object to leaving your room and sleeping in the cellar?
No, ma'am. If it means some extra money for you, I don't mind being a little more comfortable.
Janice, you're an angel to make this sacrifice. I'll run right down to the newspaper office and put an ad in this afternoon's paper. You're positive now that you won't mind sleeping in the cellar?
Oh, no, ma'am. I'm already looking forward to that nice, soft cement.
You mean you actually persuaded Mother to let you leave your room and sleep in the cellar?
Sure. Gosh, if she's in financial trouble, Mildred.
Well, but are you sure you want another boarder in the house?
Huh?
Well, suppose he turns out to be tall and handsome, and very charming and intelligent and attractive to women.
Gee, I never thought of that. Imagine if 2 of us under the same roof.
Dennis, what's the matter with you? Don't you understand what I'm saying or why I'm saying it? Where's the green-eyed monster?
She went downtown to the newspaper office.
Not Mother. Dennis, you just take me for granted. I am a little attractive, you know, and...
Oh, so that's what you mean. But, gosh, Mildred, you wouldn't look at another man, would you, huh? Would you, huh?
Why should I tell you that? My goodness, a girl like...
Wonderful news, children. I've got a boarder for Dennis's room. $8 a week and the nicest boy.
Boy? Oh, my gosh, what's he look like?
Well, he's about 23, very good-looking, and a graduate of Harvard University.
The criminal type. He's got to go.
What?
He's a criminal, I tell you. I saw his picture in the post office. He's wanted for wife beating.
What are you talking about? He isn't married.
That's even worse. Beating a wife he's not even married to. Get rid of him.
Oh, stop that nonsense. Mildred, he'll be here any minute, and I've got to run down to the corner to pick up some things. So if he arrives before I get back, show him the room.
All right, Mother.
I'll see you later.
Mildred. I love you, girl. Mad for you. Mad. Do you hear? Mad.
What?
Take me in your big, strong arms. Squeeze me till I'm just a sodden mass of limp passion.
Why this abrupt change all of a sudden?
I don't know. Living in the cellar, perhaps. Maybe the change of altitude has given me the bends.
It couldn't possibly be the new boarder, could it? This handsome new boarder?
Oh, gosh, if he's really so good-looking and only 23 and everything.
Oh, you're cute. But you don't really have to be upset, Dennis.
No?
No, you know I only have eyes for you.
Yeah, but it's the rest of you I'm worried about.
Don't be silly. But maybe it is time you worried about me a little. You've been taking me...
Oh, I'll get it. Hello?
How do you do? I understand you have a room for rent.
Well, yes, sir. We did have one, but it's already Wait a minute. How old are you?
Huh? Oh, I'm 41.
Gee, that's wonderful. You've got 1 foot practically in the grave.
I'm not sure I understand that, but I'm very anxious to live in your neighborhood. I'm prepared to pay $25 a week for that room.
$25 a week?
Well, 30 if necessary, and I...
30? Mister, you've got yourself a room. Come over in about an hour and it'll be all set for you.
Really? Well, my gracious. Thank you, young man. Goodbye.
Dennis, what have you done?
Wow, didn't you hear? I just rented him the room.
But Mother's already rented it.
I know, but this is an old man, Mildred. Girls to him are just people who don't shave.
I know
that, and I realize $30 is a lot of money, but... Oh, my golly. I bet that's Mother's boarder. What'll we tell him? He'll insist on keeping the room.
Oh, no, he won't. We'll get him to turn it down. You just follow my lead, that's all. And don't you worry. Come in.
How do you do? My name is Clifford. I spoke to Mrs. Anderson about a room.
Oh, yes. Day is my name. Bring him back alive, Day. You know, the lion tamer.
The lion tamer?
Oh, sure. This is a boarding house for circus people. Didn't Mrs. Anderson tell you?
Why, no.
Oh, sure. Meet little Fifi here, our snake charmer. Hiss hello to Mr. Clifford, Fifi.
Hello. Well, shall we show Mr. Clifford to his room?
Yeah, I guess they've cleaned up the blood by now.
The blood?
Well, you see, Roscoe, one of my lions, got into your room the other night while the last boarder was sleeping there.
It was rather messy.
Yeah, Roscoe's a pretty young lion. Just a baby, in fact, and you know what floppy eaters they are.
You mean this lion...
Uh-huh.
Yes. That's why I like my snakes. Remember the boarder before last, Mr. Day?
Oh, sure. It's much needed when a boa constrictor swallows them whole.
Oh, no.
Sure. Say, I hope you won't mind sharing the room for a day or two with Hugo. I'm breaking in a new act.
Hugo? Who's he?
My vampire bat. And you'll get along with him, though. Just keep him well fed, that's all.
What do you mean, well fed?
Oh, it's no problem. When you go to sleep, just leave your collar open.
Good heavens, I'm getting out of here. Goodbye.
Gee, what do you know? It worked.
Yes. Oh, Dennis, you were wonderful. Mother will be so proud of you.
Yeah, I guess she will.
What happened in here? Why did Mr. Clifford just rush past me screaming something about snakes and lions? What did you just say to him?
Does it matter, Mother? The good news is he isn't taking the room.
Isn't taking the room? That's good news.
Sure. You see, I've rented it to someone else.
What? I like your nerve. Whoever he is, he can't have it.
But he's a very nice man, Mrs. Anderson.
What do I care?
He has a charming personality.
Personality or not, he doesn't get the room.
And he'll pay you $30 a week.
How soon does he move in?
He'll be here in an hour. Ain't I a darling?
Oh, Dennis, you are.
We'll continue our day in the life of Dennis Day in just a moment. Meanwhile, here's Dennis to sing You Call Everybody Darling.
You call everybody darling, and everybody calls you darling too. You don't mean what you're saying, it's just a game you're playing. But you'll find someone else can play the game as well as you. If you call everybody darling, then love won't come a-knocking at your door. And as the years go by, you'll sit and wonder why nobody calls you darling anymore. If you call everybody darling, then love won't come a-knocking at your door. And as the years go by, you'll sit and wonder why nobody calls you darling anymore.
Well, Dennis finally made a big hit with Mrs. Anderson. He got rid of the man she rented his room to and rented it to someone else for a good deal more money. Mrs. Anderson is out shopping for additional furnishings now as Dennis opens the door to greet the new tenant, a very distinguished-looking gentleman, complete with cane and spats.
Oh, how do you do, sir? Welcome to Anderson Manor.
Oh, thank you. I spoke to you on the phone, I believe. My name is Franklin, Ben Franklin.
I'm glad to know you, Mr. Franklin. Your quarters are right upstairs, if I may lead the way.
Oh, thank you. You're very kind.
Oh, I hope you like your room. There are several very nice features to it, which I will make up as we go along.
Well, I assure you I'm not hard to please. And the ceiling.
Good, because if you wanted something fancy like windows, we'd be in trouble. Now, there we are.
Well, how cozy.
Yeah, and notice you'll never have to sweep under the bed. The mattress is right on the floor.
It's simply delightful. I know I'll be very happy.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Franklin.
Edison, Thomas Edison.
Edison? But I thought...
Now, I suppose you'd like a little money in advance. Now tell me, would $50,000 be satisfactory? Why not, no?
Really, Mr. Edison,
Edison? Oh, Columbus is the name, Christopher Columbus. By George, that reminds me, I nearly forgot. I need 3 smaller rooms, too, for the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria.
Now, look here, Mr. Columbus.
Why, you're shaking, lad. Are you cold?
No, sir.
Oh, I have just the thing for you in my grip. You see that black bag over there? Bring it over and open it.
I'd rather not, sir. There may be someone in it, I know.
But an operation is your only chance, dear boy. Oh, you see that, don't you?
An operation?
Oh, it's vital. I'm certain it's the only way we can save the patient, Dr. Mayo.
Oh, You're right. I'll go get the ether.
Good. I'll be under it when you get back. Oh, and when you return, Dr. Mayo...
Yes, sir?
Bring your sister Virginia with you, huh?
Dennis, are you really sure? Beyond any doubt?
Positive. All the time I was in the room, he was going... with his fingers.
Well, still, that doesn't exactly prove anything.
On my lips?
Oh, my golly, you're right. We better call the police immediately.
Oh, no. And have your mother find out I rented the room to a lunatic? I'm going to get rid of him myself.
But how?
I'm going to pretend I'm as goofy as he is, and then maybe he'll have confidence in me, and I can get him out of the house.
Oh, gee, I sure hope it works. Well, good luck, Dennis.
Boy, do I need it.
Yes? Who is it?
President Truman.
Come in, Mr. President. Just a minute. You don't look like President Truman.
Shh. I'm in disguise. A lot of Southerners around.
Oh. Yes, I see. Well, to what do I owe this great honor, Mr. President?
We need you in Washington, sir. Immediately.
Really? Well, who'd have thought it with so many of us already there?
It's a matter of utmost importance. Remember that little talk we had in the White House last June about the canal?
Oh, I'll never forget it. What canal?
Why, the one from Florida to California to permit a free exchange of orange juice.
Oh. Yes, that's right. It needs digging, does it? Very well. Ben Franklin is at your service, sir. It's off to Washington. My kite can wait.
Good boy. Come on, let's go. We gotta hurry. The plane is waiting at the... Oh, my gosh. Mrs. Anderson.
Well, this must be our new boarder. How do you do, sir?
Oh, and this must be my landlady. Madame, I am charmed beyond words. Your beauty is as breathtaking as it is unexpected.
Oh, my, really?
Oh, you are exquisite, madame.
Well, Dennis, if he doesn't like your room, you might show him Mr. Anderson.
There isn't time now, Mrs. Anderson. We got to get out of here. We got a big deal on it.
No, my son. I'm afraid it will have to wait. The artist in me is stronger than the engineer. I simply must paint this lovely creature at once.
Paint me? Oh, how thrilling. You're a painter, Mr.
Da Vinci, Leonardo da Vinci.
And you want to paint me, Mr. da Vinci?
Look, Lenny, we got to get out of here.
No. I must put this golden girl on canvas immediately. Oh, that hair, the shape of that face. A perfect Helen of Troy.
Oh, my goodness.
But, Mr. Da Vinci...
I'll go get my palette and brushes, my dear. Now, you fetch a white tablecloth to wrap about you. It will make a lovely toga. Quickly now, while I'm in the mood.
Oh, yes, of course. I'll be right back.
But there isn't time. We got to...
Don't argue, Harry. My mind is made up.
Oh, my gosh.
Dennis, what's wrong? Hasn't he gone?
No, and your mother's back, and there's no telling what'll happen. Quick, run down to the corner and bring back a policeman. Hurry.
Oh, my golly. Okay.
Oh, isn't this thrilling, Dennis?
Mrs. Anderson.
Do I really look like Helen of Troy in this tablecloth?
Mrs. Anderson, listen. This guy is a...
There you are, my dear, and all ready. Oh, you look magnificent. Now, let's see. Suppose we select a pose.
How's this?
No, not quite right. Could you bend one knee just slightly?
Like this?
Good. Now the other knee, too, a little. So? Excellent. Now Now, could you remove your head and place it between them?
Pardon me, I must have misunderstood you. Did you just...
Oh, my gracious, look. There's a young lady running across the lawn accompanied by a gentleman in blue. Now, I wonder who that could be.
Why, it's Mildred and a policeman.
Oh, thank goodness.
Dear, dear. I fear President Truman has betrayed me. He must have learned that I'm really Tom Dewey.
What?
All right, now, where's the Luna? Uh-oh. What are you doing dressed up in that tablecloth, lady?
For your information, my good man, I'm Helen of Troy.
I see. Okay, let's take a walk, Helen.
That's my mother.
Sure, she's all right.
Yeah? Who are you?
He says he's President Truman.
Did you say that?
Yeah, but I was...
Two of them, huh? Okay, you can both come along.
No, wait. This is the man right here. He says his name is Leonardo da Vinci.
So what? Being a foreigner is no crime. Come on, Helen. Harry, let's move.
Now, look here. Oh, officer, you're making a mistake. If you'd only let me explain. Mother wanted Dennis to sleep in the cellar, so we frightened the other man away with the snakes and the lions in his bed and rented the room to Benjamin Franklin. Don't you see?
Yep. Get in line, sister. All right, the three of you. Let's go.
No,
Please,
wait.
stop pushing.
Well, goodbye, friends. Nice meeting you all. And don't take it too hard, Harry. Just look at the trouble Henry's having.
Dennis Day will be back in just 1 minute to sing Maybe You'll Be There. But first...
Dream girl, beautiful luster cream girl.
Tonight, you can see this come true. Revealed by a luster cream shampoo. You'll see your hair lovelier, your wave or curls softer, more glamorous, easy to do quickly. Even in hardest water, luster cream shampoo leaves hair 3 ways lovelier. Fragrantly clean, easier to manage, brilliant with sheen. Don't wait. Tonight, use luster cream shampoo. Not a soap, not a liquid, but a dainty magical cream. Discover why it's by far the top favorite cream shampoo. Get the big jar, $1. Smaller sizes, either tubes or jars. Tonight, you can be a
dream girl. You owe your two a luster cream shampoo.
Now, here is Dennis with George Dooning and the orchestra.
Well, gee whiz, Judy Carrera.
Judy, what are you doing here?
Well, Dennis, my program starts on the air again next week, and I'll be on right ahead of your program.
That's right, Judy. Gee, this sure is a small world. Your sponsor is my sponsor, and your program and my program will be the Colgate Saturday Night 1 Hour of Fun.
Golly, Dennis, just think. You and me are both in the same family.
Gosh, does my mother know about this? Although I wouldn't mind having you for a sister, Judy. You're pretty.
Oh, shucks, you're just saying that.
No, I'm not.
Huh?
No, I'm not.
Well, somebody just said it.
Judy, I got to sing now, but don't forget, starting next Saturday night, I'll be following you.
Yeah, just whistle, and if I don't stop, it ain't me.
Thanks a lot, Judy, and so long.
Now, with George Dooning and the orchestra, here is Dennis to sing Maybe You'll Be There.
Each night I see a crowd of people. Just like a fool, I stop and stare. It's really not the crowd a thing to do, but maybe you'll be there. I go out walking after midnight along the lonely thoroughfare. It's not the time or place to look for you, but maybe you'll be there. You said your arms would always hold me. You said your lips were mine alone to kiss. Now after all those things you told me, how can it end like this? Someday if all my prayers are answered, I'll hear a footstep on the stair. With anxious heart, I'll hurry to the door. And maybe you'll be
Next week, tune in to another Dennis Day Show brought to you by Palmolive Soap, Your Beauty Hope, and Luster Cream Shampoo for soft, glamorous dream girl hair. Dentists know what cleans teeth best, and over 4,000 dentists say Colgate tooth powder with a 2-minute routine gets teeth sparkling and super clean. So, to remove dull film and get your teeth shining clean, just brush teeth 2 minutes morning and night with Colgate tooth powder. Brush inside, outside, and biting surfaces. Always brush away from the gums. See how quickly this gets teeth naturally bright. It removes dull film that improper brushing misses. And Colgate tooth powder also sweetens your breath. Try it. Buy Colgate tooth powder today. Listen again next week to Colgate's Hour of Fun. Hilarious Judy Canova, followed immediately by Dennis Day. 2 great comedy programs next Saturday evening over this same station. Vern Smith speaking. Good night.
This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
Good evening. This is Ronald Coleman inviting you to join Mrs. Coleman and me for the next half hour when our sponsor, the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, presents The Halls of Ivy.
If you like good beer, do as millions of people are doing all over the country. Ask for Schlitz, the beer that made Milwaukee famous. Schlitz tastes so good to so many people that it's the largest selling beer in America. It has to be fine to be first. And now, the Halls of Ivy. We are the halls of ivy that surround us here today. Welcome again to Ivy College, that is, in the town of Ivy, USA. The lull between Christmas and Easter, between the hibernation of basketball and the awakening of baseball, can be a period of acute concern to a college president. Thus, the unnatural calm which pervades the Ivy campus is a matter of worried speculation to Dr. William Todhunter Hall, Ivy's president. As he says to his wife, Victoria,
"It isn't normal, this ominous peace and quiet. You know, the absence of the familiar can be quite a frightening thing, like when one's foot reaches for a bottom step, which isn't there."
I suppose one reason that you're so good at your job is that you're a trifle psychic. Can you read my mind?
Yes. Yes, you're thinking that I'm much too perturbed over a very minor matter.
Absolutely right. Turn the page and read some more.
Very well. You're mad about me.
Ah, you're just reading the easy part. The part in great big purple type.
But possibly it's just presidential skittishness, but my experience tells me that at a time like this, with no major controversies raging, the faculty in a rare mood of contentment, the Board of Governors all on speaking terms with one another, the budget reasonably balanced, something is bound to happen. Nature abhors a vacuum.
No, that's because nature has never tried to get cigarette ashes out of a rug with a broom. Now, why don't you just relax and enjoy the calm period while you can?
End of calm period. President lifts receiver and is plunged into raging inferno of accumulated trouble.
Yeah. Goodbye, darling. It was nice to have known you.
Farewell, my love. Tell the Board of Governors that I went into battle with chin up, eyes forward, and knees knocking. Dr. Hall speaking.
Hello, Doctor. This is Eddie Gray.
Oh, hello, Eddie.
Have you any time today? I'd like to see if you have.
Oh, yes, of course. Now, wait a minute. Let me see. Have you a class for the next hour?
No, sir.
Then come over now.
I'll be right there. Thanks a lot.
Goodbye.
Well, anyway, it's not Mr. Wellman.
No. Eddie Gray.
See, Toddy, you mustn't let yourself be mizzled by your instinct.
No, I think we should... I mustn't let myself be what by my instinct?
Mizzled.
Mizzled, yes. I thought that was what you said, yeah.
Well, I meant it, too. You let yourself worry unnecessarily like that.
Mizzled. It's a most attractive word. The fact that I have never heard it before is immaterial. It seems to convey a meaning that no other word quite has. It's almost onomatopoeic.
Well, I am surprised you don't know the word. It's very common.
Well, I suppose every man's vocabulary has gaps in it. Holes through which the most ordinary words and phrases may wiggle their way to freedom. But mizzled. Now, how could I have missed that one? M-I-Z-Z-L-E-D, I suppose.
Your spelling has holes in it, too, darling. It's M-I-S-L-E-D. I see, yes. And how do you spell misled? Misled? Well, it's M-I-S-L-E... Isn't that funny? Spelled the same way.
Yes, the English language is full of surprises. Flowering, as it has, under the fertilization of Sanskrit, Gaelic, Celtic, Gallic, Germanic, and Icelandic, it's amazing to me how anyone even learns to say, baby, it's cold outside. Why, when I was teaching English, look, you might get out the dictionary while I let Eddie Gray in.
Well, you're going to dig out a few more new words?
No, I'm going to write mizzled into it. And if they find that Noah Webster's tombstone has tilted during the night...
Hello, Dr. Hall.
Come in, Eddie, come in.
Thank you, sir. I'll just take a few minutes.
Oh, that's all right. Let's sit down in here.
Thank you, sir.
Now, Eddie, let's have it.
Well, I've been thinking about my future, Doctor.
Yes?
And you know all about my father.
Oh, yes, Mike Malott.
Well, he's given up the rackets and everything that goes with them. I guess he's got a lot of money stashed away someplace, but I'm not having any of it.
Yes, I was offered quite a bit of it once, for Ivy.
You turned it down.
Uh-huh.
Well, I am, too. I'm going to be good and broke.
But does it worry you?
No, I'm going to be good at my job, and I'll get a job.
Well, you don't seem to need any advice from me, Eddie. If you continue to talk as rationally as you do now, I'll be coming to you for some.
Well, maybe I don't need advice, Doctor, but I do need somebody to go along with me, and I found her.
Her?
Yes, sir, a girl. I want to bring her over so you and Mrs. Hall can meet her.
Oh, we'll be delighted. Is she an Ivy student?
Yes, sir, working away, dealing him off the arm.
How is that?
Waitress. She waits on table over at Gus's.
Yes. Good for her.
Well, we'd like to have you and Mrs. Hall stand up for us.
Well, you mean as best man and matron of honor?
Yes, sir. Would you mind?
Mind? On the contrary, Eddie. I think it's a great compliment. When would you like to bring her over?
Well, tonight, if you're not too tied up.
No. Tonight will be fine. And the wedding?
This weekend, sir.
Well, I'm very happy for you. I suppose you're enormously in love.
In love? Oh, yeah, sure, Doctor, I guess. Well, thanks a lot, sir. I'll see you tonight.
Vicky.
Yes, Dottie, I'm coming. Wait, is there any trouble?
No, I don't think so. I'm just a little confused.
Why?
Well, I was all set to tell you the happy news that Eddie Gray is to be married, that he wants us to stand up for him. And then I asked him if he was in love.
Oh, was he all head over heels and starry-eyed and everything?
No. No, he was amazingly unperturbed. Quite matter-of-fact, in fact.
Matter of fact, about being in love? Huh, and he isn't really in love. Nobody has that kind of control.
Yes, exactly my own reaction. The cold-blooded attitude toward being in love is like trying to combine a blast furnace with an icebox. Oh, maybe it can be done, but I'd like a closer look at the blueprints.
It's so nice to see you again, Mrs. Hall. Well, I haven't laid eyes on you, Mary, since the Junior Follies. Now, how long has this romance been going on?
Well, if you mean how many dates, Mrs. Hall, not many. Mary works until 12 o'clock, 6 nights a week.
And fall apart on the 7th.
How can you two ever get together?
Well, we're taking the same courses. We see each other every day, practically all day.
Across the classroom? You're talk and chalk instead of moon and June? No, that's not right.
Oh, it's all right for us, Mrs. Hall. We don't need moon and June. As Eddie says, we have to face facts. We've got a living to make, now and later. And if that doesn't leave time for anything else, well, we'll have to face it, that's all.
I see.
Of course, somehow I feel that time should be found. You are both very young. You both have lifetimes ahead. It is not my policy to Victoria, don't flinch. I'm not going to make a speech. But it's not my policy to recommend the wasting of time. But if healthy sentiment is wasting it, I have misspent a good part of my life. A profligacy which I do not regret.
We just don't have time for romance. We're both very practical. As Mary says, we're forming our own little company, and we're going to run our lives like a business.
And we think we'll pay dividends.
I hate to think of you two growing up with just a patch of little coupons around the house.
Of course, there are other dividends besides money, Betty. Some of them of incalculable value.
Well, it's all right for you to say that, Dr. Hall, and, well, I don't mean to be fresh, but you're all set. You're secure. You've got no worries.
I'd like to have every college president in the country hear that remark. Every new wrinkle in education means two on a president's face.
Well, I know what you mean, Eddie. There's a certain amount of justice to it, too. Maturity brings with it a different view of the scales. Eddie, it is not my job to try to play God, but you are both most attractive young people, and I would simply like to feel that there is nothing in life which you do not share.
We appreciate it, Doctor, but, well, I'm afraid we'll have to go on the way we started. Will you and Mrs. Hall still stand up for us?
Well, of course we will, won't we, William?
Well, certainly. But I may still try to convince you that moon does go with June, and that stupid is not the only rhyme for Cupid.
Maybe we're making a mistake to officiate at this wedding. It isn't a marriage, it's a merger.
Yes, it's a strange attitude. I'm usually faced with the problem of dissuading youngsters from leaping into matrimony, simply because it's a rainy Saturday and there's a dull picture playing at the Bijou Theater.
But this is new, huh?
It is to me. I've never before been faced with two coldly practical young people who don't have room in their marriage for that old-fashioned commodity called love. I'm glad I grew up in the days of the lace valentine and the first stolen kiss in the porch swing.
We've simply got to open their eyes.
Oh, I'd like to, Vicky, I really would, but we must realize that we are tampering with other people's lives uninvited.
Yeah, let's tamper just a little.
Well, but how?
Well, I don't know. But I do know that you need a haircut now. You run over to the barber shop and let Doc Fish talk you into a quiet stupor while I do some very heavy romantic thinking.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll stay home.
Why, Toddy.
So I told him what was wrong with him. You know, Doc, he's a very obstinate man, closed mind, no vision. Why, a man in his position should have national recognition. He'll never get it. Obstinate, that's what he is. Closed mind. You listening? Doc? You listening?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, yes. Obstinate, very, yes.
Well, why don't you fire him then?
Oh,
Warren.
Oh, yes, indeed. One of my closest... fire him! Professor Warren, are you out of your mind, man?
Who do you think I was talking about?
Tooth Shaw?
No. That's the trouble around this college. Nobody listens. A man who has constructive ideas might as well stick his head in a barrel for all the good it does. I've been around here for 30 years. I know what I know. I keep my eyes open. You listening? Doc? You listening? I said I keep my eyes open.
One of us is enough.
Understand you're going to a wedding.
Really?
Confidential, ain't it? I don't tell everything I know.
Well, you make an effort. I give you credit for that.
I don't approve of this wedding.
I doubt if that'll halt the ceremony. I got married without your approval.
Eddie's father is Mike Malott. Just finished a jail sentence. Bad heredity. And that girl...
Oh, what's the matter with her?
I don't know. Waiting to find out. A friend of yours was in here today.
Oh, who?
Clarence Wellman. Said Eddie Gray had asked him for a job after he graduates. Wants to be in his research department. Asked for a job for her, too.
Well, that's very ambitious. What's wrong with it?
Nothing. Not up to now. But you know what Wellman told me?
No, and I cannot conceive of anything which to me has a more monumental unimportance. So, please complete your tonsorial mission and let us have surcease from this weary gossip.
Ain't gossip. It's factual. Here's the girl working her way through school as a waitress, barely able to pay her tuition, no money for fancy clothes, and all of a sudden she deposits $5,000 in the bank. Wellman's bank.
Okay, that's been going for 14
Personally, I think Mr. Wellman's ethics should be looked into. Does he usually discuss his deposit as confidential business with his barber?
You got a point there, Doc. You know something? I think Wellman talks too much. Shall I comb it wet or dry?
When there's beer on your mind, your best thought is Schlitz, the beer that made Milwaukee famous. More people like the taste of Schlitz than any other beer. That's why Schlitz is the largest selling beer in America.
Tonight I'm going to tell you about 3 unbiased brewmasters and the hops that give Schlitz beer its character and zest. These 3 brewmasters select all the hops that go into Schlitz beer. And to make their choice, these men examine samples from all the best hop-growing areas. And most important, they are told neither the price of the hops nor the name of the grower. In this way, the 3 brewmasters have to make their choice without bias. They have to choose on the basis of quality alone. Now, this is still another instance where quality comes before cost. Patience before speed in the brewing of Schlitz beer. Is it worth it? Let's look at the results. Schlitz tastes so good to so many people that it's the largest selling beer in America. It has to be fine to be first. As we return to the halls of Ivy, we find Dr. Hall just back from the barber shop, considerably perturbed by the gossipy tongue of Doc Fish and the inference of dishonesty in Eddie Gray's young bride-to-be. Victoria, meantime, has been doing her own worrying about the complete lack of sentiment, the lack of human emotion in a young couple who obviously should be very much in love.
Well, there must be some explanation of that money, Toddy. That girl simply doesn't look dishonest.
Well, it seems to me that we are assuming an irregularity which might very possibly not exist. Except in the vermiform mind of Doc Fish and the habitual suspiciousness of Mr. Clarence, where were you on the night of January the 13th, Wellman?
How do you account for a warm-hearted, nice boy like Eddie turning out to be such a cold, calculating young man? You'd think he was holding hands with his girl just to keep her from juggling the books.
Yes, it isn't logical, and I'm partial to logic, even in human equations. As Huxley said, logical consequences are the scarecrows of fools and the beacons of wise men. And in my infinite wisdom, I seem to have missed the beacon.
Yeah, me too. I also. Do you know something, Toddy?
What's that, my darling?
I have a nagging little feeling that I know the answer to this, and I can't pin it down. It's something they did, or said, or... Will you do something for me?
For you, my sweet, I'd climb the highest mountain barefoot, swim the deepest river in full armor, cross the widest desert.
Yeah, well, when you come home... will you just invite Eddie and Mary over for one more evening before they get married?
Of course, darling, if you think it'll do any good, but their minds seem to have a sign hung on them that says closed.
Maybe they're just closed for alterations. Now, I believe that either you're in love or you're not, and you can't turn it on or off like a spigot. Do I sound like the Ladies' Home Journal?
Yes, sir. And if you're working your way through a college president, you may renew my subscription for 100 years.
Dr. Hall, Mary and I both appreciate the interest you're taking in us.
Well, Eddie, we're very fond of you both. It's only natural that we're interested.
Since we saw you the other night, we've decided we're a big disappointment to you both.
We just can't help it. That's the way we're built.
Yeah. Eddie.
Yes, sir?
I'm going to presume on our friendship and my great age. And would you and Mary permit me the luxury of telling you a story?
Certainly, Dr. Hall.
Victoria, this story has never been told to anyone before. May I have your permission to tell it?
Oh, of course, William. I want you to.
How do you know what story it is, Mrs. Hall?
It's just matrimonial telepathy, Eddie. When you've been married as long as we had, you find even your minds holding hands.
You mean you get to know everything each other is thinking? Gee, that's pretty frightening.
Well, it can be pretty comforting, too, Eddie. Besides saving a great deal of useless conversation.
I'll bet it would at that.
I have looked 8 places down a dinner table at my wife, exchanged a smiling look with her, and known immediately that she found the food distasteful, her dinner companion repulsive, the service ostentatious, and wasn't I finding my own dinner partner a little too fascinating?
I remember that. Oh, I wasn't exactly jealous. I just wanted to stab her with an oyster fork.
Anyway, Eddie, here's the story. Years ago, just before Mrs. Hall and I were married, I was in London. It was Victoria's closing night in her great success, Give Them Tears. And while I was at the theater waiting for her to change, I opened a cable that had been delivered just before I left my hotel.
William, I didn't know you were out here. Why didn't you come in?
Well, I think I stayed out here just for that tremendous moment when I could hear the rustle of a skirt, look up and see you. Victoria, you do look lovely, and I can't think why there should be any surprise in my voice.
I could encourage you to go on, you know. I like you very, very much. But you're worried about something. What is it?
A decision, I'm afraid.
Was it serious?
Yes.
But tell me.
Well, then let's walk for a few minutes, may we? I'd like just to feel there's no one else around. Just you and me.
Well, come on. Let's walk down to the river.
Yours has been a glamorous life, Victoria?
Oh, not always, you know. You don't start at the top in the theater. You have to battle and connive and pray and hope on the way up.
Yes. I suppose you have to, but you were born for the top rung. You know, I've often talked to you about what may seem to be the drabness of a professor's life. Slow advancement, very little money.
Oh, darling.
Yes, I know. We've discussed it so much.
We've settled it so often. I'm not marrying your job. I fell in love with a man.
Oh, but that man has been offered another job.
What kind?
Well, for this particular man, very highly paid. A very influential post in a large, responsible corporation. Complete financial security, and I imagine a certain social solidity.
Doing what?
Research. In a field with which I'm completely familiar, it wouldn't be difficult work.
William?
Yes?
Look up. Have you ever seen this building before?
Westminster Abbey? Why, yes, of course, many times. Yes, 9 centuries of history in stone. I don't know why I should love something which reduces me to such insignificance, but I do.
Let's go in. We've never been in here together.
I'm always breathless when I walk in here. One of my countrymen, Washington Irving, said of this abbey, "It seems as if the awful nature of the place presses down upon the soul and hushes the beholder into noiseless reverence."
There's another American touch. Over there by the west door is the tomb of the unknown warrior.
Yes.
Over it in a frame is the medal placed on it by your General Pershing.
Yes, I've seen it. Yes. Listen to the echoes. History sleeps here. Statesmen, scholars, warriors, and over there in the south transept, the poet's corner. All the hours I've spent there. Reading words enshrined forever in the mind and heart of the world. Were they happy, I wonder? Those who sleep there, I mean?
They did what they were intended to do. They somehow knew their destiny.
Yes, they were the great ones. The dedicated ones. Men who could not be swerved from the road they knew was theirs.
Does it help you?
Help me? Help me? Oh, yes, I see you. You brought me here deliberately, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. You know what Samuel Johnson said? Turn from the glittering bribe thy scornful eye, nor sell for gold what gold could never buy.
Ah, Victoria, you're not only beautiful, you're wise. And very good. Now, don't move for a minute. There's a shaft of light catching the edge of your hair. That stained glass window up there is putting a lovely halo around you. Don't move yet. You see, of all the memories of you that I shall one day treasure, this may be the most beautiful. This picture of you as you are now. Victoria, wise, good, and shining. I love you.
I love you, William.
Mary.
Yes, Eddie?
Did you like the story?
Of course I did.
You don't have to be polite, did you?
I said I did.
Dr. Hall.
Yes?
I guess I'm not as smart as I thought I was. You see, we thought the best way to make the grade was to forget all that stuff about love and just make a business of living.
What do you think now, Eddie?
What I've always thought, I guess, Mrs. Hall. Do you mind if I tell it to Mary?
But do you mind if we're here?
Oh, no, I want you here. I don't think she'll believe me. Mary.
Yes, Eddie?
I love you.
There's something I have to tell you, Eddie.
What?
We're not as broke as you think.
I don't care about that.
Maybe you will when I tell you. We've got $5,000 more than you think we have.
$5,000? Mary, where did you get...
Oh, it's all right. I won it.
Won it?
Mm-hmm.
How?
In a radio contest. I wrote a song.
What kind of a song?
A love song. Do you want to know the title?
Yeah, Mary, I do.
It's the only way I knew how to tell you. It's just called Eddie.
I knew it all the time.
You knew what, my sweet?
That those two were really in love. I knew that stuff they were putting on about their marriage on a cold business basis was a lot of whale feathers.
Whale feathers. Interesting zoological phenomenon.
No, darling, you know what I mean.
Oh.
The way they kept looking anxiously at each other for approval, and they weren't speaking for themselves at all. Eddie would say, as Mary says, and then Mary would say, as Eddie says. You remember? They each thought the other wanted to be unromantic.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And didn't I see them start holding hands while I was telling them about Westminster Abbey?
Holding hands, they were welded. It'll take surgery to get them pried apart long enough for him to put the ring on her finger.
my darling, I saw a newsreel once of a woman who swam the English Channel. You have exactly the same look of happy achievement.
I won't be a bit surprised. I feel like a combination of Mr. Anthony, Beatrice Fairfax, and Mary Margaret McBride.
Well, I don't know what Mr. Anthony's doing in there, but this seems to be woman's work. I've often wondered why Cupid is always depicted as a male.
Oh, him. He's just a messenger boy with a bow and arrow. It's Venus who points out the targets.
When there's beer on your mind, your best thought is Schlitz, the beer that made Milwaukee famous. More people like the taste of Schlitz than any other beer. That's why Schlitz is the largest selling beer in America.
And here again are Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
We'll be seeing you next week at the same time at the Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman. The Halls of Ivy is presented by the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, who invite you to enjoy the Pulitzer Prize Playhouse on television on Friday nights. Ken Carpenter speaking.
Gildersleeve has a surprise for you. Listen on NBC.
Mary Margaret McBride, kid is.
The Fred Allen Show, with Fred's guests Monty Woolley, Portland Hopper, Minerva Pius as Mrs. Nussbaum, the DeMarco sisters, and Al Goodman and his orchestra. And if you ever want to look me up in the phone book, girls, my name is Kenny Delmar. This week, ladies and gentlemen, the New American Magazine is on the stands. It contains the life story of Fred Allen. Millions of readers are saying, who is Fred Allen? There is only one answer to this Fred Allen question, and here it is. Fred Allen.
Thank you, and good evening. This is Fred Allen, in case there is any doubt, ladies and gentlemen, in case the name didn't come up earlier in the program. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Say, tell me, Kenny, did you happen to read the story of my life in the American Magazine?
No, Fred. What is it, one of those rags to riches yarns?
No, it's from rags to rags, Kenny. I hold my own in the story. You know, I was born in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Oh, that must have been a long time ago.
Yes, Kenny, there was no bird life in Cambridge in those days. The stork used to bring his bundles only as far as Boston, and the American Express delivered the babies the rest of the way.
You were born in a small town.
Cambridge was so small, when the Siamese twins stood on the main street, one of the twins was out of town, Kenny. Cambridge was so far back in the woods those days, the mayor was an owl. He used to molt every 2 years and get back in the office again.
Well, what happened when you got older, Fred?
Well, when I was 15, my voice changed, and I joined the church choir.
You were a choir boy?
Yes, Kenny. The first Sunday I sang in church, 200 people changed their religion. I started singing one of... Well, Portland. You're just in time, Portland. Time to strike out for Allen's Alley.
Oh, have you a question for tonight?
You bet. You know, this past week, a Senate subcommittee published a list of new inventions, aluminum and glass clothing, and electrical gadgets that will greatly influence our post-war lives. And so our question tonight is, how do you think these new scientific developments are going to affect you?
Shall we go?
As one anchor said to the other anchor, let's away. Well, here we are back in Allen's Alley, Portland. Say, I wonder if the senator had to run for re-election last week. Let's see.
Come somebody knocked. Yeah, vote for Claghorn. Senator Claghorn, that is.
Now, wait a minute. I know it.
They keep going over your head.
Well, I know that. I don't...
If you're listening, you should be laughing.
Well, I'm doing it. Trying to get put points on my words. I'll get one in edgewise. Now, look, are you through, Senator, temporarily?
Yeah.
Can I
Sam.
Yes, Look, Senator, are you upset about these new post-war inventions?
Well, there's only one thing that's got me worried, son.
What's that?
Them new aluminum suits for men.
Aluminum suits?
If they take all of America's kitchen utensils to make aluminum suits...
Yes?
The taxpayer will be caught with his pants down. So long, that is.
So long.
See you to the elbow.
Well, the senator shouldn't worry about aluminum. He should worry about getting the lead out. I wonder if Titus Moody is in tonight.
Howdy, Bob.
Well, Mr. Moody, have you tried any of these post-war ideas?
Yeah, I started feeding my sheep ionized yeast.
Feeding your sheep ionized yeast?
I was trying to grow steel wool.
Well, tell me, how did your experiment work out?
Not so good, Bob.
No?
Yesterday it rained.
Yes?
Today I got 500 rusty sheep.
I've never heard of rust taking it on the land, but I guess you have. Tell me, Mr. Moody, have you had any other trouble with these new gadgets?
Yeah, my automatic milking machine kicked up.
How?
I had the machine hooked onto my cow, milking.
Yeah?
I went to bed and forgot to turn it off.
You left the milking machine running all night? Well, what happened?
Milked the cow inside out.
Didn't it ruin the cow?
No, she's still giving milk.
Yes?
But the cream is on the bottom.
I should have asked Mr. Moody to do a few curd tricks while he was here. Well, let's try this next house here.
No.
Ah, Mrs. Nussbaum.
You're expecting maybe Lauren Bagel?
Tell me, Mrs. Nussbaum, are you in favor of these inventions to improve modern living?
Forward with science. This is my mere slogan.
Forward with science. Have you tried any of these new household gadgets?
Natch. I am buying a magic Davenport.
What is a magic Davenport?
First, it is only a Davenport.
Where does the magic come in?
You are pushing a button. Presto, the Davenport is hiding in the wall.
Oh, good.
You're pushing another button. Change-o, the Davenport is coming out of the wall of bed.
Say, that is magic.
Magic, tragic, it is making me a widow.
What happened?
My husband, Pierre, is sitting at the Davenport.
Yeah?
Presto, the Davenport is hiding in the wall.
Yes?
Change-o, it is staying there.
Your husband, Pierre, is trapped in the wall?
For 4 days already.
And is Pierre still alive?
We are feeding him through the wall, a knothole.
Well, what is Pierre eating?
Frankfurters one at a time.
Well, after this experience, I guess you didn't buy any other new items.
Only one.
Which one?
They are making shoes from soybeans. I'm buying 2 pairs.
Oh, you like your soybean shoes?
Detective, they are delicious. Thank you.
That brings us to the last shack in the alley. A knock here should certainly start something.
Oh, it's you, Saggy Eyes.
Well, McGee and McGee. Now, something tells me you boys have a new song for tonight.
Have you heard? When it's tulip time in Toledo, Tallulah, I'll have tulips waiting for you.
Now, wait a minute. Look. Look. Tonight, we are discussing post-war innovations.
Great. We got a song about these new glass suits.
Glass suits?
Yeah. I'll be seeing you in all the open air.
Thank you, McGee and McGee. You're not through. That's what you think. And now for some singing. Now for some singing that's worthwhile, ladies and gentlemen. The five DeMarco sisters, accompanied by Maestro Al Goodman and his music pupils. The DeMarco sing Paper Moon.
For it's only a paper moon sailing over a cardboard sea. But it would be make-believe if you believed in me. Yes, only a canvas sky hanging over a muslin tree. But it wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me. Without your love, it's a honky-tonk parade. Without your love, it's a melody played out of Fanny Arcade. Yes, yes. Barnum and Bailey, well, just as phony as it can be. But it wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me. Without your love, it's a honky-tonk parade. Without your love, it's a melody played. Melody played on the Fanny Arcade. It's the Barnum and Bailey world, just as phony as it can be. But it would be make-believe if you believed in me. If you believed in me.
Maestro Al Goodman and his 8 bars is a concerto orchestra have just played That's For Me. Mr. Goodman has more unfinished symphonies on hand that Schubert ever dreamed of. Say, Portland.
Yes?
Is there a copy of today's paper around?
If you want to know the latest news, Edgar Bergen just got married.
No kidding. Charlie McCarthy has a stepmother, hey? Why, that little fugitive from a sawmill, it serves him right.
I'd hate to be a ventriloquist's wife.
What?
If a ventriloquist talks in his sleep at night...
You mean if he throws his voice?
Yes. His wife has to get out of bed and go downstairs to hear what he's saying.
Oh, it's too much trouble. I wouldn't even bother with it. That was interesting. But look, you could see the script before he went to sleep. You would know. Look, Portland. I'm not interested in Charlie. I just want to look at the want ads. I have to find someone who wants to sell a radio.
Isn't your radio working?
No, a friend of mine who lives in Jersey went home the other night and took the tube. Oh, here's the paper. I wish he took that gag with him, too. Oh, here's the paper on this chair. Let us look at these want ads here.
Oh, here's one. We'll exchange swords and 8 medals for good alibi.
Signed, General Yamashita. He can use a good alibi at the moment.
Say, here's something.
About a radio? What does it say?
We'll give my portable radio to anyone strong enough to carry it away. M.W., Room 40, Gem Hotel.
Gem, you know, that's a little theatrical hotel on 47th Street. I'll see you later, Portland. I'm going over to see M.W., Room 40. Room 38, 39, Room 40. Here we are.
Yes?
Is M.W. in?
I'm M.W., Monty Woolley.
Well, Mr. Woolley.
If you are the exterminator man, there is wildlife rampant in my mattress.
No,
if you are the bellboy, I want a clean towel.
But
Look at this towel. It's blacker than a side curtain on a hearse.
Now, Now, look, mister.
If you were the manager, I want knobs put on these doors. I'm sick of opening doors with a corkscrew.
But, Monty, I'm Fred Allen.
Fred, what are you doing in this flea bag? Are you furnishing a dog?
Now, Monty, stop complaining. Every hotel in town is crowded. You're lucky to even get in this little theatrical hotel.
Lucky? Well, I'm sharing this room with 4 acrobats, 3 midgets, 2 seals, and a talking hippopotamus.
But there's no light in here. How can you read here at night?
A fire eater lives in the club.
A fire eater?
Yeah, he eats with the door open.
But how?
I read by the light of the fire eater's dinner.
Oh, I see. That clarifies that. To me, at least. Well, I'll see you later, Monty. I'm looking for some chump who put an ad in the paper. He wants to give away his radio set.
I am the chump, Fred.
Oh, really?
Here's my radio set. Get it out of my sight.
Monty, you've turned against radio?
Well, what is radio? Smiling Irishman, jingles, LS, MFT, and those jokes radio comedians tell about my beard.
Oh, you mean when you are on their programs?
Yes. Last week, a comedian said, Monty, if I lose my raccoon tail, can I borrow your chin for my radiator cap?
I remember one comedian said, you look as though you just ate a full of brush, man, and his samples are sticking out.
Well, another so-called radio wit said, Monty, your face should be hanging down in front of a Scotsman's kilt. Radio bar.
Now, look, Monty, are you through panning radio?
There's one thing more, Fred.
Really?
Now, those crime programs.
What about them?
No crime ever goes unsolved in radio. Mr. District Attorney never loses a case.
That's right.
Your FBI gets its man every week.
Well, what kind of a crime program would you like to hear, Monty?
Just once, I'd like to hear the truth.
The truth?
The story of a district attorney or police commissioner who has some trouble with a case.
Oh, I see.
A guy who isn't infallible.
Uh-huh.
I'd like to be on one of those programs.
Say, I think I can fix that for you, Monty.
Fred, it'll bring back my faith in radio. I'd like to see what happens to me.
Okay, Inspector Woolley, you are on the air.
Mr. Mobbuster. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, champion of the people, foe of the underworld, and defender of law and order, Mr. Mobbuster.
Thank you.
And what is your thrilling story for tonight, Mr. Mobbuster?
Tonight, I will show you how I dealt with the most dangerous criminal I encountered in my 40 years on the force.
Who was the most dangerous criminal, Mr. Mobbuster?
Charlie the Chicken.
Charlie the Chicken?
Yes. But it all started back in 1936. I was in my office at police headquarters, polishing some brass knuckles with my right-hand man, Mulligan. Out of a clear sky, Mulligan said,
Chief, I don't understand it. 20 years in the office, and you ain't caught one criminal yet.
It's just a slump, Mulligan.
67 unsolved murders this week alone, Chief. The streets is jammed with bodies.
Has anybody noticed it?
Some street cleaners stooled on you, Chief. The newspapers is hinting you're a coward.
Al comes through, Mulligan. They've got to give me time. Miss Pitt, my secretary.
Here's your fan mail, Chief. One postcard.
What does it say?
As long as you are in office, our minds are at ease.
Good. Who's it from?
Murder Incorporated.
Chief, you're the laughing stock of the city. You gotta catch a criminal pretty soon.
If I can just get one case, I'll show the newspapers. Miss Pitt, turn on my shortwave set.
Okay, Chief.
Attention all police. Poultry truck hijacked in Jersey. 2,000 chickens stolen. Charlie the Chicken suspected. Charlie the Chicken suspected. Attention all.
Jeepers, Chief.
Mulligan, that's the case for me.
Charlie the Chicken's the biggest chicken napper in the country. This case will be a feather in your cap, Chief.
Right, Mulligan. Miss Finn.
Yes, Chief.
Call the newspapers. Tell them I'm bringing in Charlie the Chicken single-handed. Let's go, Mulligan.
Okay, Chief.
This is mighty exciting, Mr. Mobbuster. What happened next?
Chickens were disappearing every day. I got a tip that Charlie the Chicken was going to rob the biggest chicken coop in the Bronx.
You were prepared?
Oh, Mulligan and I hid in the coop. Day and night we sat on 2 nests, disguised as chickens. One night as we sat there in the dark clucking, I heard Mulligan speak.
Chief, I gotta get off this nest. No kidding, if I...
Quiet, Mulligan. Somebody just came in the coop.
Okay, Chief. I'll get back on the nest. We better start clucking again.
Who's talking? Who's in here? Who's there? When till I flash me searchlight? I thought so. 2 chickens with derbies on.
I've got you, Charlie the Chicken.
Coppers, eh? Take this.
We can lay the chief on this table, Miss Finn.
Okay, Mulligan. Easy now.
Oh.
We got you back to the office okay, Chief. No reporters even seen you.
I can't hear you.
No wonder you can't hear, Chief.
Jeepers. Charlie the Chicken shot off both your ears.
No ears? Well, what'll I hang my glasses on?
Gee, you're a sight, Chief. In that chicken coop 3 days, phew.
Let me get some of them chicken feathers off you.
Yeah, I'll comb this mash out of your hair, Chief.
Never mind the mash. Get this egg off my chin. My beard looks like an omelet with a point on it.
Charlie the Chicken got away clean.
Yes, but I'm a mess. I'll find Charlie the Chicken if it's...
I'll get it, Chief. Don't bother getting up. You'll dirty the floor. Hello?
Is Mr. Mobbuster there?
Yeah?
This is the FBI.
Yeah.
Charlie the Chicken is going to stick up the Acme cold storage plant tonight. Tell Mr. Mobbuster to get going.
Okay, John Egger.
Who was it, Mulligan?
The FBI. John Egger, personally. Charlie the Chicken is holding up the Acme cold storage plant, Chief, and the job is tonight.
This time, Mulligan, Charlie the Chicken is a dead duck. Let's go.
Okay, Chief.
You've got us all biting our nails, Mr. Mobbuster. Did you catch Charlie?
Not exactly. Miss Finn, Mulligan, and I went to the cold storage plant. We were hiding behind 3 icicles. I heard Mulligan say...
Shh. Quiet, Chief. Charlie the Chicken is in that icebox.
Good. I've got him trapped.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, what's your next move, Chief?
Mulligan, you and Miss Finn go back to the office and call the reporters and photographers.
But, Chief...
I'm bringing in Charlie the Chicken alone.
Good luck, Chief. Let's beat it, Miss Finn.
Now, I'll open this icebox door.
Who opened that door?
Come out with your hands up, Charlie the Chicken.
Oh, yeah? Take this, copper. Oh! Now, Mr. Mobbuster, I'm locking you in this icebox.
No!
You can lay the chief on the floor, Mulligan.
Okay, Miss Finn. He's a solid block of ice. I'll put him down over here. Hey, that was a good idea of yours, carrying the chief home with these ice tongs.
2 weeks in that ice box, he looks like a human rink.
I'll chip away some of this ice and see if the chief is still alive.
Chip a hole near his mouth.
Okay. As soon as I chip off this little chunk, his mouth will be free.
How do you feel, Chief?
Ooh, like a big popsicle. Get me out of this frozen kimono.
A couple of more chops, Chief.
There you are, Chief.
Ooh, what an experience. I'm colder than a snowman's clavicle.
Hey, Chief, your nose is gone.
Charlie the Chicken's a sure shot, Chief.
I know. My ears are gone. My nose is shut off. I'm starting to lose faith.
Hey, Chief, why don't you call off this manhunt?
Hey, Chief, this code message just came on the teletype.
Eureka! The address of Charlie the Chicken's hideout. Come on, Mulligan.
Okay, Chief. Is this the joint, Chief?
Yes. Charlie the Chicken hangs out in this Bowery saloon.
Yeah?
Let's go in.
You better be careful, Chief. Chief, this joint looks creepy.
Hey, bartender, is Charlie around?
Look behind you, Bud.
Clap hands, Chief. Here comes Charlie.
At last, Charlie, I've got you.
Nobody's taking Charlie the chicken alive, copper. Take her!
Gosh! What happened then, Mr. Mobbuster?
Well, Charlie the chicken made his final getaway. He disappeared completely.
And you?
I was removed from office. When I got out of the charity ward, practically and partially recovered from my wounds, I was out of work for 9 years until I got this job on the radio.
What became of Charlie?
Charlie the chicken sold all his stolen chickens in the black market for a fabulous sum and is now living in Florida under the alias of Gordon the Goose. He has a 50-room mansion with a private beach, 3 yachts, 12 speedboats, and a private plane. He spends his days at the track and is engaged to a beautiful movie star.
And so, Mr. Mobbuster, the moral of this story is...
crime does not pay.
I want to thank Monty Woolley for joining us tonight. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, next Sunday night, the Fred Allen Show brings you comedy. Comedy, that is. Drama. Drama.
I'm finished, Ronald. I'm at the end of my rope.
Cheer up, old girl, cheer up. I'll wind up your yo-yo again.
And our guest will be...
Boris Karloff.
Boo. Good night.
Fred Allen will be back again next week at this same time. This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.